building closer to the match start here at the county ground. Just over 10 minutes ago until we kick things off against Durham cricket, we had the coin toss. Round about 17 minutes ago, it was won by the Steelbacks, who elected to field the first innings. We can probably squeeze in one or two more Steelbacks jukebox tunes. Anything you'd like to hear? Hashtag Steelbacks jukebox. Send us a tweet. Use that hashtag if we've got it. If it's appropriate, we will play it. We've had a request in from Cam who wants to play something for his wife Charlotte. Trouble is, not a lot of M&M stuff is appropriate for a family audience. So we can't be doing that, I'm afraid. So anything you want to hear, keep it relatively PG friendly, and of course we do that. We want the county ground to be a welcoming place for all our players, coaches, staff and supporters. As a club, we stand against all forms of discrimination. There is no place for it in our sport. We are dedicated to raising the game. So, if you witness it, challenge it, call it out. If you need assistance or have a concern, you can text 0744 382 2329. That's 0744 382 2329.
That's right. Good. Let's see it. Come back, my mate. Settling in for the week.
Forming a guard of honour talking teams to the field today, we're joined by Cricket East. They will also form a ring of steel at the start of the first innings. As the Steelbacks come out to field, so a warm welcome to everyone from Cricket East joining us here at today's game. So welcome to the county ground, welcome to Wanted Road, the home of the Steelbacks. It's game 10 of 14 in the group stages of the Vitality Blast. Steelbacks taking on Durham Cricket. 1 point between these two sides. Both sides hunting for a place in the playoffs, so everything to play for today. We'll get things underway in a little over 5 minutes' time.
Sorry.
So as we build towards the match start, it is time to see how both sides line up for this Vitality Blast clash. Let's begin with our visitors to Wanted Road, Durham Cricket. Wearing 48 for Durham, Colin Ackerman. Wearing 7, Graham Clark. 27, Baz Delina. 82, Ben Cautious. Wearing 10, Michael Jones. Wearing 19, Durham's captain, Alex Lees. Wearing 17, Callum Parkinson. Wearing 44, Ben Ray. 21, Durham's wicketkeeper, Ollie Robinson. Wearing 72, Nathan Souter. And wearing 70 for Durham, Ashton Turner. And now, let's see how the Steelbacks line up. Wearing 3 for the Steelbacks, Matt Bretsky. Wearing 27, Ricardo Vasconcelos. Number 23, the Steelbacks captain, David Willie. Wearing 25, Ravi Bapara. Wearing 18, Safe Stay. Wearing 46, making his Steelbacks debut, Ashton Agar. Wearing 15, wicketkeeper for the Steelbacks, Lewis McManus. Number 24, Gus Miller. 26, Ben Sanderson. 84, Rafi Weatherall. And wearing 80, Freddie Helbridge. Our scorers are representing Durham, William Dobson, and for the Steelbacks, Terry Owen. Our umpires, James Treadwell and Ben Debenham, and our match referee, Steve Davis. There's Duke's bell being read by our umpires, signifying we are 5 minutes away from match start here at Wanted Road, this Vitality Blast clash. The Steelbacks taking on Durham. Just to remind you, the Steelbacks won the toss and decided to field in the first innings.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Wantage Road, the home of the Northampton Steelbacks, where today in the Vitality Blast we have the Steelbacks versus Durham. Earlier today, David Willey, the skipper, won the toss and elected to have a bowl first here. So we will see Durham, the two opening batters, making their way down the stairs. My name's Dan Jadzovic. I'm joined by England women's current fast bowling coach, Chris Liddle, former assistant coach here. How are you? Welcome back.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's nice to be back. Looking forward to seeing a good game of cricket against two good teams that play T20 cricket pretty well. So it should be an exciting afternoon.
Yeah, we don't want a repeat of what happened here a year ago. That was slightly one-sided, I think would be the best way to describe it.
Yeah, no, it can happen in this game. Someone gets on a roll and just takes the team completely apart. So I do think we're set fair for a good game of cricket here. Two teams sat quite close together in the league, separated by a point. With some fantastic players on show, so I'm expecting a good game.
I hope so. That player that got on a roll last year was, of course, Graham Clark. He's going to be one of the two men opening the batting for Durham. He's got 102 not out of just 49 balls in that 10-wicket win for Durham at the county ground last season. The Steelbacks today line up as follows: Matt Bretsky, Ricardo Vasconcelos, Dave Willey, Ravi Bopara, Safe Save, Ashton Agar making his debut for the county, Lewis McManus, Gus Miller making his debut in the format, Ben Sanderson, Rafi Weatherall and Freddie Heldrick, Durham, Graham Clark, Alex Lees, Ollie Robinson, Colin Ackerman, Baz the Leader, Ashton Turner, Michael Jones, Ben Dwarshus, I believe it's pronounced, Ben Rain, Callum Parkinson and Nathan Souter. And we're going to have David Willey opening the bowling from the David Capel end. You're just expecting a good game. If I gave you 50p to put on either of the two sides right now, which way are you going?
I'm really torn. Ryan Campbell got me into coaching. I did a lot of work with the Dutch team, and he got me involved with that, and probably helped me become the coach I am. And then I've got a lot of time, a lot of love for John Sadler, who's doing. I think he's doing a great job here as well. So I'm sort of on the fence here. I just want a good game of cricket with Ty, maybe. I don't know.
So we can't have another one of those this season, can we? Surely.
No. It'd be nice to see someone win it in the last over or something like that. Good game of cricket.
A classic. Graham Clark on strike. One slip in place for David Willey. And that's a good, nice start for the Northampton skipper.
Yeah, I had a look at the wicket earlier on. It's got quite a bit of grass on it. Obviously, with the weather that's been around Northampton the last week or so, I think the ground staff done a great job because it's firm with a nice tinge of grass. So could see a bit of zip early on with that new white ball. And hopefully a bit of swing for Dave as well. So certainly a prize scalp getting Clark early if Northampton can, because once he gets on a roll like he did last time, he can be dangerous.
Yeah, well, the benefit of being washed out on Friday night is that we get a fresh pitch for Sunday. Another one goes past the outside edge of Graham Clark. Yeah, that game against Lancashire didn't even get started. It started raining at about, well, it felt like about 6 o'clock-ish and then didn't stop until the early hours of Saturday morning. We had a pretty heavy shower earlier, about lunchtime today. Craig Harvey and his team are out there working hard, drying it up, taking all the covers off, and, well, it looks a picture, doesn't it, at the moment?
Yeah, they do. They do a great job, the ground staff here. They really do. They put the hours in.
Bat on ball this time for Graham Clark. Can't beat the man at mid-off, Ben Sanderson. So 3 dot balls to start the innings for David Willey. Clark does a bit of gardening. Joe Gardner, one of our regular commentators, her favourite line is 3 dot balls in T20 cricket and something happens.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
Graham Clark, one of those cricketers, or is he a bit more experienced, a bit more mature? He's going to be quite happy just to face this over out if needs be.
Certainly something happening, isn't it? It's certainly a bit of nip and a bit of movement. It looks like it's got a good bit of pace in the pitch. Clark's if I know, like Ryan Campbell, I've known for a long time, and he got me involved in coaching. He always wants to play it positively, so he'll be encouraging his players to do the same. And you can see by the way Durham have played over the last couple of years, they really put pressure on the opposition as much as they can. So I can't see him just wanting to see the over out.
Gives himself a bit of room. The ball before he kind of advanced and went outside off stump. And I assume David Willey just saw him move and dragged that length a little bit shorter. That one there has tried to create room through the offside by stepping outside leg stump and ends up getting a bottom edge onto the boot, which drops safely. So 5 dot balls to start the day for David Willey.
Dave's one of the best white ball bowlers, new ball bowlers in the country, and has been in the world at some stage as well. So, like you say, he's plenty of experience.
Clark gives himself room again and can't get it through the offside. Bretsky tidies up, and it's going to be a maiden to start the day for Northants. The skipper takes his cap back, and a round of applause from those that have made their way in and sat in the sunshine this afternoon.
Certainly what you want from your captain and your opening bowlers to set the tone like he did there. There's obviously, it looks like there's a bit of extra bounce in the wicket. Just hitting the spice of the bat a couple of times here. This end always does a little bit more in terms of lateral movement. So you know, it'd be tough for Lees here against Sando. If there's anyone that was going to get something out the wicket, it'll be Ben Sanderson, especially from this end.
Yeah, 5 wickets so far this campaign for Ben Sanderson at 36. So a little bit expensive for the standards that he would set himself. He's going to start from the Lynn Wilson centre end with Vasconcelos at first slip. There's an appeal from McManus for LBW. Vasconcelos does the fielding, and it's a dot ball to start. So 7 dot balls in a row for Northants. It's a funny game, isn't it? Because the Leicester game that we had here, which ended up in that tie, the white ball looked like it did nothing. It was arrow straight for all 40 overs.
Yeah.
Today we've seen 7 balls, and it feels like there's a bit of life about it.
There's certainly a bit of life in the wicket. There's a bit of bounce and a bit of zip. That was just gone straight through. That's a great ball.
Gone. Lees has been given caught behind off the bowling of Ben Sanderson. McManus was convinced, wasn't he? He went up early. Sanderson's just swung it back into the Durham opener, who didn't look best thrilled with the decision, did he? Sanderson was convinced, Vasconcelos was convinced, and as was the umpire. 8 dot balls then, and the 8th was the wicket of the Durham skipper. What a start.
Been a great start. I say Northants, you know, the way they've played T20 cricket this year, they've looked to be positive as well. They've looked to set the pace early on in terms of how they want to play the game. This opening partnership with the ball has been fantastic, set by Dave Willey, followed up by Ben Sanderson here. The areas that they've hit has been fantastic. I say it looks like there's good carry on the wicket. Man in form coming in, Ollie Robinson. He's been a great move for him coming up from Kent to play for Durham. He's all of a sudden on the England radar and people talking about him the way he's playing the game.
Yeah, it's been a good move. Sanderson into bowl. Oh, there's an appeal from the crowd as well for caught behind. Robinson kind of stands there with that universal sign from a cricketer that stares back at the pitch and's gone, what on earth is this doing today?
It's just bouncing a little bit, isn't it? It's just probably not what they're used to expecting when they come to Northampton. It's got a bit more life in it. Again, the weather being how it is with the rain we've had, got a bit more of a tinge of green.
Gone. Sanderson's got 2 in the over. He's gone straight through Robinson, and Durham, without scoring, are 2 down. Lee's the first to go, Robinson the second. What an over this has been. What a start this has been. What a 10 balls.
Absolutely. This end definitely historically has always done more laterally. And there's one ball that's going to get a bit out of the wicket and a bit out of the ball. That would be Ben Sanderson, the way he bowls. He always challenging the batter's forward defence. And he has done that. He's 2 great wickets, 2 really important wickets.
It's kind of angled in towards Ollie Robinson, wasn't it? Began to swing away and then seamed away and ended up hitting the top of, well, it looked like middle stump, maybe middle and off.
Yeah, definitely. As I said, Sando will always challenge around the top of the stumps. And especially when the ball's just doing a little bit, he'll ask you questions, which is what he's done this over. So Dave set the tone really, really well early on, and Sando's carried it on. So it's been fantastic. You say he's only got 5 wickets this year, but we normally try and burn his overs out in the power play. I don't think he's bowled much at the death because of the option Dave's had to use. So
Yeah, I think he might have broken a bail as well here, Ben Sanderson.
That might be going into his locker.
One for the souvenirs. Umpires just coming together. I assume that's the ground staff's responsibility. It looks like the umpires are going to proactively here swap the bails around from one end to another. Although now we do have Freddie Heldrick running across the square with an emergency bail. And I think by that point, we might be ready to get going again. There's quite a long discussion here, isn't there, between Graham Clark and the new man for Durham, Colin Ackerman. Another new acquisition. We spoke about Ollie Robinson moving. He was on loan last year, wasn't he, I believe, and then made the move permanent. Colin Ackerman moved across the winter from Leicestershire as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've toured with Ackers, when obviously plays for the Dutch team as well. So been to a couple of World Cups and stuff with Ackers. He's doing a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, triggers down, advances at Sanderson, trying to negate some of that movement. Sanderson just sees him coming, drops that length a little bit shorter and gets the movement out of the surface again. Just enough, isn't it? It's not doing loads.
Doesn't have to, does it? Just got to do enough to find the edge or beat the inside. So lad's bowling really well here. It's going to be a challenge for Ackers. Looks like he's just came out of his crease. Stand a bit further down.
2 slips for Sanderson. And there's the first runs of the afternoon off the bat of Colin Ackerman. Greeted with, well, a disappointed round of applause, isn't there, from the Northants crowd? Thought that might have been another, well, double wicket maiden it would have been. In fact, a nice on drive to end the over. Ackerman on 4 then.
A fantastic over from Sandor there. Really putting them under pressure. Wouldn't surprise me if we see the keeper up though. Next over, if he comes back on, the ball's still doing a bit just to try and keep them in the crease.
Yeah.
Smart move from Ackers, really getting out of his crease, try and catch on the half volley, taking his length away.
I believe as well, unless I've missed a wide ball there from Sanderson, which I don't think there was one, the score is in fact 4 for 2 and not 5 for 2.
I'll trust you.
I've got a feeling that
There's a change now, 4 for 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the wide was signalled on the ball that knocked off stump back for Ollie Robinson. I've played a little bit of cricket, and I know that's not how it works. Willie could continue. Clark still yet to get off the mark. A nice shot, though, put up to Sanderson at mid-off. I mentioned there was a kind of a pretty heavy rainstorm that came through about lunchtime, which meant that a lot of the warm-ups for the players were done in the indoor school. How much of a difference does that make, not being able to have a pre-match hit on grass?
Yeah, it's a funny one, really. A lot of them, you know, they'll hit balls to feel good morning of or just before the game. Most of the training and prep work would be done back at the counties before coming down here. But I suppose when you want to get the timing of the wicket, going indoors and then having to go outdoors, 2 completely different surfaces. So I'd imagine it will play a little bit of a difference. I take it from a bowling point of view. You go indoors and it's bouncy and goes through. You go outside, it doesn't bounce as much. So you can get used to like the wrong length, or you can get used to hitting the ball off different lengths and stuff. So it will have played a bit of a part, but I'd imagine a lot of them gone through their own little routines.
David Willey is all over Graham Clark at the moment. Clark's faced 9 balls here for Durham, yet to get off the mark.
Certainly be ticking, won't he?
He's got to have one eye on that scoreboard now, though, hasn't he? Although he's faced 9 without scoring, the worst thing he can do here is panic and make this 4 for 3.
Well, that's it. A lot of the chats are about getting the team 3 down the power play. You know, you win a lot of games from there, or you certainly put yourself in a good position from there.
That's gone up. There's going to be a chance here, and it's gone.
3 down.
So that is exactly what we said Graham White didn't want to do, and it's exactly what Graham White has done. Has it held up in the pitch there a little bit? It would indicate so. Clark was through the shot. He's disappointed with himself. Dave Willey gets his first, and Durham are 4 for 3 off 2.4 overs. Well, if we said the game here last year was one-sided, at the moment it's shaping up to be a pretty similar affair.
Certainly is. The way Northants have, or Steelbacks have started with the ball has been fantastic, and it's been hard for Durham to try and put any pressure back onto the Steelbacks. So yeah, it's going to take a bit of regrouping, I think, from Durham. Try and get a partnership. Right, left hand might just help here in terms of creating a bit of width.
Yeah, Graham Clark gone without scoring, having faced 10 balls. The catch taken by Gus Miller, making his Steelbacks debut in T20 cricket today. And the new man for Durham is Ben Rain. Bumped up the order in response to the start. There's an appeal for LBW from David Willey, and umpire not interested. It was Pastelida was carded to come in next.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. I think it's a good move. I think, look, you think back to Yorkshire, who they try to keep it right and left for as long as possible. You will just get potentially just one that strays onto the pads a little bit, and just one that just offers you a bit of width with the changing of angles and stuff. So it might just take away, or certainly change the way Northants after ball.
And a dot ball to finish the over. A wicket maiden, the second maiden for David Willey this afternoon. The score is 4 for 3 of 3 overs. Ackerman on 4. Rain has just faced those 2 balls, which he successfully negotiated. And it is going to be the man, Ben Sanderson, making his way to the end of his mark from the Lynn Wilson Centre end to continue in front of us. And Mystic Liddell, who said that Lewis McManus might be coming up to the stumps, has done exactly that.
He does it in championship cricket, does Ben. I remember when I was here, as soon as he sees anyone advancing out of the crease or trying to get down the wickets to them, he tries to pin them back in, just so he can do stuff like that. He's a good operator with the ball, is Ben. He has done it for quite a while now, but he knows his strengths when it comes to, you know, bowling at the opposition and where he wants them to be. So be a tough ask now for Ackers in terms of how he plays Sandor from the crease, rather than being able to get down and try and take his length away.
Judging by that reaction from Colin Ackerman, that's not been the most comfortable start to this over either.
Yeah, I think you just have to count to make sure they're all there.
Sanderson this time just shaping these first 2 deliveries back into the body of Colin Ackerman. Whose decision would that have been? Would that have been Lewis McManus's, or would that have been Ben Sanderson's, or would it have combined?
No, it definitely Sandor. As soon as he sees someone coming down the wicket to him, he's quite quick to get the keeper up. He wants to be bowling it back that's stuck in the crease rather than getting out to him. His length's so important, how he bowls.
It's just bounced a bit. Didn't go clean into the gloves of Lewis McManus, but it's another dot ball. I can't believe there's been many T20 Blast games that have started similarly to this. 3.5 overs. Durham are 3 down for just 4 runs.
I think it must be on for a record, I think. The way they're going. Been fantastic. Sandor just using the crease a little bit, coming a bit tighter, coming a bit wider, just trying to create the angle. Just see there, he's just landing either side of the blue wide line, just to try and create different angles on the ball, try and create a gap between bat and pad. A good operator is Ben when he comes to the bowling craft of what he looks to do to try and take wickets.
I'm not sure how accurate this stat is, and I hope Durham aren't in contention to beat it. I mean, they're on course at the moment. I'll tell you what it is in just a minute. Sanderson makes his way into bowl again. It's a big shot from Colin Ackerman, a good take from Lewis McManus. I've Googled it, and the internet sometimes doesn't provide you with the most accurate of information, but the lowest power play in total T20 is internationals, but Sierra Leone's 8 for 2 in 6 overs against Nigeria in 2021.
8 for 2.
They're on.
Yeah.
And it's another maiden.
It's not easy for them, is it, Durham? Having to work hard here.
Ackerman successfully negotiates that over. Sanderson chalks up another maiden in his career. It's 4 for 3 after 4 overs. I don't think either of us would have or could have predicted this.
Absolutely not. I think Dave's looking at. I think he smells blood here. Does Dave Willing? He's probably going for it. He's taken another one out of it, another over away from himself. Try and get another wicket here early on. Makes it a bit easier back end. I think he smells blood. He wants a couple more wickets here.
Rain goes for the scoop. Doesn't get all of it. Heldrick's coming underneath it. Oh, it's just got a little bit big on him and can't stop it from going over the rope. For a second there, the left arm wrist spinner was just making his way into the right direction.
In the air for a while, wasn't it? He thought it was just going to land close there. Just kept going over his head.
Yeah, the breeze that we have got today is blowing that direction, isn't it, across the ground? And whether that's just helped it.
Kept it going, yeah.
Carry on. 1 bounce 4 in the end. Good shot from Ben Rain. 8 for 3. Dave Woolley back on the money. Oh, there's a chance the non-strikers ends. Oh, McManus doesn't hit. Ackerman, well, was shaking hands, wasn't he, with Ben Rain before Ben Rain even set off for that single. Wickets do funny things, and that was a funny thing.
Certainly looking to just get as many runs as possible at the moment, even if it's drop and run. I'd like to see mid-wicket and extra cover just squeezing a little bit on Ackers here. Sometimes when you see the sort of wall or a couple of people in front of your eye line that you've got to try and hit it through, might just create a false shot.
Take on the quick single, take on Sanderson this time.
I think that's certainly how they'll look to play for the time being, is try and scamper singles, and if they see anybody sat in the ring, thinking we can take a single to them, try and get the scoreboard moving, and hopefully it gets a bit freer to start scoring boundaries, you know, as the ball gets a little bit older. But it's been a great start by Northants.
Do you think there was a single there? I mean, there was in the end because Ben Rain got through, but was there a single?
Yeah, it's a funny one because, you know, in white ball cricket, you tend to just go and navigate towards the edge of the inner ring. Whereas I think you got a team 8 for 3 or whatever they were at the time, actually just squeeze in. If you want to take me over the top, you can. But you can see mid on and mid off are just sat sort of on the ring.
Mm.
Doesn't look the easiest of pitches in terms of the new Kookaburra at the moment, still doing a bit that you can just take it over the top.
Yeah, that wicket of Graham Clark would kind of prove that point, wouldn't it? Whether it did just kind of hold up a little bit.
Yeah.
As I said, it did rain earlier today. You're obviously local to here. You know how much it's rained over the last week. Wouldn't be surprised if it's a bit sticky. That one down the leg side. It's going to be a wide signalled. Extra 1 for Durham. 11 for 3 or 4.4 overs.
Interesting, Dave's taken slip out into extra cover. Doesn't feel like they're in the game as much in terms of nicks, but the way Ben Rain plays and drives, potentially a bit more of a catching opportunity on the offside. So he's packed that. Wonder whether he's going to go a bit more wobble ball rather than his away shape, just try and get it to grip a little bit.
That one was pace on, and that's really nicely played by Ben Rain. Cut away, backward of point, split 2 Northants fielders. There wouldn't have been much of a gap to get the ball between, but he managed exactly that.
It's a good cricket shot, isn't it? Dave hasn't done too much wrong there, apart from maybe his length fraction short.
Yeah, Rain's
small margin.
Top of the bounce, isn't he? And almost chopped down on it. Cut it between those 2 fielders. One of those Ashton Agar at backward point. And a dot ball to finish the over. 15 for 3 after 5. There was almost a bit of a cry of frustration there from David Woolley, wasn't there, at the end of the over?
Yeah, it is a tough one, isn't it? 3 overs in, 3 straight in the power play. I know Sando's going to do his 3 straight in the power play, but you just try and think about where Dave could, you know, maybe he could have saved himself 1 for the middle and 1 at the end. But done his job in the power play maybe, but it's, you know, it's probably easy to call up here rather than out there. He's got to play the game that's in front of him, Dave, and he backed himself to have another go and try and get a wicket. So fair play to him. That's why he's captain, and that's why he's played for hundreds of teams as well and played around the world and international cricket.
Yeah, absolutely. Backing himself to pick another wicket, as he is Ben Sanderson. And that is nicely played by Colin Ackerman. Runs it down to Fred Heldrick at deep third. Gets the single. So Ben Rain will face up against Ben Sanderson for the first time this afternoon. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Sanderson doesn't bowl 4 straight here.
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly making it talk, isn't he? He's not, doesn't look as easy to hit down the ground. Certainly find the outside edge or beating the inside edge often. Why it's still moving around, why wouldn't you? Yeah, absolutely.
Sanderson has got the first slip in place. It's a big shot that Ben Rain was a touch early on. Drags it leg side. David Willey, the captain, does the fielding. Throws at the non-strikers end just to make sure that Ben Rain is running properly between the wickets.
That's something Dave's brought to this team. His attitude around fielding. So it could have easily been there, just run around, pick it up, throw it to the keeper. There's always one run, but yeah, he's trying to make something happen. I think that's infectious in the group.
Another single. Papara in there at mid-wicket, tidies that one up.
When your captain fields and moves like that, you know, got no excuse. You've got to do the same. So it's been really good to watch, actually, the games that I've seen for Steelbacks, the way the fielding's kicked on another level in terms of their attitude and pace. I know they've made a couple of mistakes sometimes, or they've been slightly behind on the overs block, but they've thrown themselves around and committed to the dives and catches and stuff like that, which, you know, I know some Sads wanted to make a move with when he got given the role.
It's not far away, and Heldrick does well to get round to that. Make sure it is only the single. Wouldn't have been far away from leg stump, would it? Ben Rain just chopping that one back past his leg stump.
I like your call, 4 in a row. The Sando still going. Why not?
Yeah, it's where he's most effective, isn't it?
Yeah.
Undoubtedly. And if you bring him back at the death, yes, he's got the skills, he has the Yorkers, he's got the slower balls, but this is where you're going to see the best of Ben Sanderson. And if there's a chance, just keep him going. Particularly when you've got ice in the veins, Rafi Weatherall up your sleeve for the death.
Been fantastic, hasn't he? It's great to see a young guy put under pressure like he did and come out. You know, he didn't shy away from it. He charged in, didn't hold anything back, full committed to every ball. That over was fantastic to watch. Sent him a little message afterwards to say congrats, well done. Great to see.
Yeah, he's making a bit of a name for himself. He bowled the last one against, he bowled the last one against Derbyshire. Bowled the last one against Worcester as well here, didn't he? And then obviously that tie against Leicester as well. Short ball from Sanderson to get out the over, and it's going to be a dot ball to do so. 20 for 3. And that, Chris Liddell, is the end of Durham's power play. And what a power play that's been for the home side.
That'll certainly be one of the better ones that's ever been bowled, I think. The guys have executed really well there, even to the extent of that last ball. Ball in a bumper, probably the last thing he was expecting with the way the ball was nipping around, challenging the front foot. So shot the bumper in there, a bit of a surprise. Got in the right place as well. The guys have started fantastic. Been really impressive stuff.
Yeah, they've been absolutely brilliant in the power play. Fielders can go outside the circle. Now, it'd be interesting what Dave Willey does here. Does he put 5 out straight away, or does he keep a bit of pressure on, keep the fielders inside the circle? And I think he's going to do that. He's going to start with 5 inside. So 3 outside.
Nice. Yeah, he's just gone for the flat back 4, deep square, deep cover, 3rd and fine.
That one brings in one of those fielders into play. Matt Bretsky doing the work on the offside boundary. Single to start. Gus Miller's first over of the day, and his first over in blast cricket for the Steelbacks as well.
It's good to see, isn't it? Another North youngster getting the opportunities to play. He's been really impressive over the years, Gus. His work ethic, he loves the game, he loves playing cricket, and he'll do anything to try and get out there and play.
Good Yorker right into the block hole. Doesn't allow Ben Rain to get his hands underneath it. Yeah, he picked up his county cap, didn't he? A couple of weeks ago down at Glamorgan.
Yep.
40 with the bat on debut.
Yeah, he's an impressive lad. And as I say, the way he goes about it, he's hungry to get better, to improve, to be put on the big stage like this and playing in front of crowds.
That's a quick single. Papara gets round, takes a shot at the non-striker's end.
I took one on the shin there, Gus, but he's hard as nails, that bloke. So
just didn't
walk it off.
Didn't get his hands down to it in time, did he? Yeah, 22 years old. Gus Miller from Oxford.
Another cricketer they've got, I think, where you don't quite know yet if they're a batter that bowls or a bowler that bats, because he's good at both. I think over time.
All the way, and that's going to be 4. Ackerman pounces on the length from Gus Miller and muscles it down towards the beer tent at Wantage Road.
You can just start, sorry, I was going to say, you can just start to see now where the wicket's probably not doing as much laterally from one end. It's still doing a bit from Sando's end, which has always offered a bit more assistance to the seamers, but this end just seems to be a bit true. That's why the nunnery tends to get targeted quite a bit towards the back end. It just sits up if you miss that length. Get the hands through it.
Trusted the bounce. That one's gone offside. Bretsky, who is lightning across the outfield, but maybe just a touch too quick for his own hands. That one's gone straight through the South African down at deep cover. Disappointed, as is the Northants superfan Wendell Pemberton with the flag down there. That's not the bloke that you want to misfield in front of, is it?
No, I'm sure he's letting them know it as well. He was quick there, wasn't he, Bretsky, to get across, but just couldn't get his hands down in time.
Back-to-back 4s for Durham. That one guided behind point, and it is going to be 2. Heldrick with a lot of ground to cover allows Colin Ackerman to come back and add a couple of runs to his tally. He moves to 19, and after 7 overs, the score is 32 for 3. Ackerman 19, Rain on 12, and Miller's first over in T20 Blast cricket has gone for 12. What did you make of the over?
Just a fraction. The balls probably he got punished on were just a fraction too short. I thought his pace looked good, his intent looked good. Again, he seems like the ball's starting to do a bit less. So your margin for error is a bit smaller. I like the fact that he kept an extra man in just to try and get the squeeze on. Still plenty of positives from that over. They've had to play some good shots to get some runs, so that's what you're sort of asking for, really.
Ravi Bapara into the attack. So Sanderson won't bowl 4 straight. He'll be replaced by the number 25. Ben Rain on strike. McManus up to the stumps, as you'd expect. That one down the leg side. Tidy work from the keeper. Ben Rain's back foot never moved. Ravi Bapara, an extra one to bowl in this over.
This might give us a bit of an indication of if there's any hold in the wicket. Ravi will bowl a lot of cutters or knuckle balls and stuff.
That one pace on and muscled over the offside by Ben Rain. Splits the 2 fielders patrolling the offside boundary. 4 more added to the score down towards the Briggs and Forrester stands. Agar and Bretsky can't cut it off. Bapara wide 4 to start this over. Somebody who's normally incredibly miserly, isn't he, with the runs that he gives away. So if Durham can target him and actually give Dave Woolley a question or something to think about.
Absolutely. I think there you go. Just hold it in there. He's managed to get it past 45. Unlucky. That is unlucky. I think he's done all he could there, Ravi, with the ball. He's sort of bamboozled the batter in a way, but he's managed to get enough on it just to get it past 45. Dive ready. That's the game sometimes, isn't it? Ball a good ball. But yeah, Ravi's leading wicket taker for Steelbacks. putting some good performances with the ball.
It's a full toss. Is that going to be one of those balls that picks up a wicket? It is. Well,
That's cricket
as you said the ball before, it happens sometimes, doesn't it? And it's done exactly that. He's missed his length. I think you can tell by the body language there for Ravi Bopara. That's not the best ball he's ever bowled in his life. A waist-high full toss that Ben Rain couldn't connect with, couldn't do anything other than pick out the man at deep mid-wicket. So Bopara has gone wide 4-4. Probably the worst ball of the lot. He's picked up the wicket.
That is cricket. That is cricket. Looks like he's got another knuckleball there that just maybe just dipped a little bit last minute, got it on the toe. But yeah, I mean, the ball before he certainly did. Ben Rain all ends up, and he managed to get it for 4 past 45. He got his reward the following ball with a low full toss knuckleball.
Vasconcelos down on the boundary, taking the catch. And the score 41 for 4, 7.5 overs. Northampton, David Willey have elected to go 4-5 outside the 30-yard circle now. And the new man for Durham, who gets off the mark straight away, is the Australian overseas Ashton Turner.
Little single down to his teammate, Ashton Hagar, down here at Long On. I think it's been a great signing by Sads and the team. Getting Hagar in, overseas replacement for Raza. Plenty of experience.
Would you have expected, or would you have thought Agar would have come into the attack straight away, or do you think where there has been a bit of seam movement, that's why they've gone Miller and Bopara?
I think they've certainly tried to see if they can still get a bit of seam movement out of it. I think it's always good as well to get a youngster in early, getting over out the way for them. I think there might have been a bit of nerves flying around for Gus, so he's obviously taking a catch, but getting him into the game early with the ball, I think will help settle his nerves. It's a good option as well. You've got the experience of Agar for, to bowl in different situations. Game unfolds, so.
It's a slower ball from Bopara, which is pulled through mid-on by Ashton Turner. Bopara kind of stuck a hand out there, didn't he? Luckily enough for the Aussie, the ball was far enough away. It wasn't in contention for a caught and bowled. 8 overs then have been complete here at Wantage Road, and the score is 44 for 4. Stream at Northamptonshire is powered by Daffabet, and that's the two of us.
Oh wow!
What a team!
That's it. Going strong.
Producer kind of surprises that on us every now and again. Then you get lost for words, don't you, really? But Ashton Agar is going to come into the attack from the David Capel end. He is the overseas replacement for Sikandar Raza, while Zimbabwe are playing a T20 international series against India. They won the first game of that series yesterday. I think they might be on the wrong side of a hiding today. I think Rinku Singh might have picked up a 46-ball 100 against Zimbabwe. The last time I saw, Zimbabwe require 112 runs off 15 balls with 2 wickets in hand. So that's a level pegging series after today. Ashton Agar on debut for the Steelbacks. Perth Scorchers, Australia decorated cricketer. Brilliant signing.
Yeah, I think so. A wealth of experience. Sure, these two have bowled to each other in the nets over the last few years at Western Australia. Yeah, great signing. It's always tough for spinners to bowl from the David Capel end. Obviously, boundaries normally cut in sharp for the right-handers. I think there was always a tactic over the years to make sure the pocket's quite big for the left-handers. Any of the opposition had left-handers, they'd leave it quite deep towards the changing room end just to target that with spin. It's always been historically quite tough to bowl spinners from that end, just because of the size of the boundary.
Yeah.
Can he perform? Ashton, where he goes about his bowling, so I'm sure he'll be able to work his way around it.
Yeah, when if we can get a shot that kind of pans across the ground, you can see from our vantage point really easily how much that ground cuts in at the end of the Spencer Lounge, which is where all the members sit for Northants. And then towards that area that Ackerman's just played, that really kind of just squares off the corner, doesn't it, down towards the Memsab tent, the beer tent. Not the biggest hit in world cricket.
It's not, and a lot of people target it. So historically, that's why spin's not bowled a great deal of overs. Normally bowled from this bottom end here, where the pockets tend to be a lot bigger, unless they've got a lot of left-handers in the attack, where that's the change room end. The pocket's normally pushed out a bit deeper, and it's probably the biggest hit to get.
I think it'd be fair to say in these 4 balls, Ashton Agar has not given the Durham batters a chance to get their hands through it and target that short leg side. Good work by McManus.
Good pace, hasn't he?
It's been quite flat as well, hasn't it? Just 3 runs off the first 5 balls of the over. Make that a 4th single to round it out. So 4 runs off the first over for Ashton Agar. 9 then have been bowled. 48 for 4. Durham with Colin Ackerman on 22, Ashton Turner on 4.
Liked his field placement there for Ashton with a deep backward point. He changes his pace, so anything just outside of the stumps was pretty much pace on and quick. Anything on line of the stumps was pace off, so that will hopefully get a bit of hold. It's not as easy just to tap it into the leg side or take it on in the leg side.
Bopara continues, and that's pulled away through square leg. Really well fielded in the end. I think that's Ben Sanderson at deep square.
He had the dancing feet on there, didn't he? Trying to get himself into position. It was going quite quick at him, but good work by Sando.
Ackerman's done really well to hit that as powerfully as what he did through square leg. Ball didn't really bounce, did it? Kind of pulled it off his ankles in the end. That one again, nicely played by Turner, just for a single. You'd think a pull shot off your ankles, you just call it a sweep, wouldn't you? But it wasn't. It was a back foot shot.
I'd like to see Ravi bring point across the mid wicket, square up deep cover. Just so it's not as easy, just play it into the leg side.
Oh, it's misfielded by Rafi Weatherall. 4 more added to the score. Ackerman, that's his 4th boundary of his innings so far. 27 off 22. Got off the mark with a textbook on drive, didn't he? Off Sanderson's first over. Just continuing how he started. 27 off 22. Good Yorker from Bopara. Good comeback. Good take by Lewis McManus as well. Getting towards the halfway stage of the innings. 54 for 4. 2 balls left in the 10th over. It's going to be another single added to the tally. Takes it to 55. Durham, ideally, they probably wouldn't speak too frequently about finding themselves in these situations.
No, not really. I was just thinking there, try and think of a pass score or competitive score to get. What would you be comfortable bowling at? You want anything over 130, 140 to give yourself a good chance. You can see it's just getting a bit easier, isn't it, to hit through the ball and stuff. So
yeah, that's a lovely shot to finish the first half of this innings. 10 overs then have been completed, and the score is 59 for 4. First boundary of Ashton Agar's innings. 9 off 7. Cut it away back with a point. So yeah, 59 for 4 at the halfway stage. So give or take a runner ball, essentially. And you'd expect, assuming there isn't a steady loss of wickets here in the next 10 overs, that Durham would be able to accelerate that rate, particularly with Ackerman, Turner, Baz the leader, Michael Jones to come. They've got some batting left in the sheds, and You don't really get bunnies anymore in cricket, do
No,
you? All of
absolutely
these
not.
lads are going to be able to whack a few.
Absolutely not. I think Ravi might take a bit of a rest there, and we'll go double spin. I should have said Steelbacks will go double spin.
It's going to look for 2. It's going to split those 2 fielders nicely. Ackerman's going to come back. They're going to throw to Turner's end.
That's quick running there, real quick.
He's been proactive, hasn't he, between the wickets, Ackerman, in this innings so far. Nearly too proactive for Ben Rain, but he's been proactive.
Yeah, I mean, he's sussed up the wicket quite early on. That was hard to just hit through. And singles and rotating the strike is going to be important. Try and put a bit of pressure on the fielders. So he's been quick with that.
First time we've seen Ashton Agar give this Kookaburra a bit of flight. He's going to move his fielder square at deep mid-wicket. It's Gus Miller down on the boundary in front of the sweet shop and the copy van.
Imagine it's going to be quite fast. Yeah.
You played this game once or twice, have you, Lids?
I really enjoy watching bowlers and start using in the fields, and they're switched into what they're trying to bowl and then trying to execute that ball. Obviously, you want to encourage Ackers to try and hit the gap between deep mid-wicket and long on. You know, probably the best ball to do that in terms of getting a wicket would be quite fast and full and straight, and try and get him going across the ball. So he's been quite smart with his fields, been impressive again, wealth of experience.
Yeah, capped internationally by Australia in all 3 formats. 49 international appearances for Australia in T20 cricket. That one picked up by Turner, and that one is going to be thrown back from the members in the Spencer Lounge. Ducking for cover rather than trying to take the catch. But a good shot by Turner, and the first 6 of the afternoon. Just picked up his Western Australian teammate over the fielder, who might just politely ask for it to be underarmed back, really, didn't he?
It's a great shot, great cricket shot.
And a dot ball to finish the over. The 6th coming the ball before, dot ball to finish. 11 overs have been bowled, 68 for 4, and a good over for Durham. 9 scored off it.
I think them type of balls are the really important ones in white ball cricket. How you respond to, you know, someone taking you for a 4 or a 6. How you respond, is it, you know, can you get a dot on him early? Can you get a wicket? Can you try and put some pressure back onto the batting side? I think it's really important. A lot of people talk these days about pressure on the opposition and trying to get pressure back, regain pressure.
Well, we are going to have double spin. David Willey, with this lineup for the Steelbacks, is blessed with options. We're going to see the left arm finger spin of safe save from the Lynn Wilson centre end. There's a slog sweep to start, and has he picked out Sanderson? He hasn't. It's just gone over the crossbar. Sanderson, in the end, I think, was trying to throw it back into play. Brilliant effort by the opening bowler, but Ackerman picks up his first 6 of the innings. It was flat, wasn't it?
He's absolutely smashed that. It'd have been a hell of a catch by Sando there, diving one-handed.
Good start to the over for Durham. The pressure goes back on Northampton. Safe save. Ackerman goes again. Going to look for a couple. Turner's going to respond. There's going to be a chance if they hit. It doesn't. Just kicks off that wicket end. Safe save. Couldn't gather it cleanly. That would have been interesting if that was direct from David Willey. Ashton Turner makes his ground in the end. Ackerman continues to run well between the wickets. 2 more added to the score. 1 turned in. They're just going to settle on the single as Agar sprints off the boundary. Keep that one down just to 1. Turner on strike. So 9 off the first 3 balls of safe saves over. Haven't seen Freddie Heldrick yet. We haven't seen Rafi Weatherall either.
Just think we might have missed or the Steelbacks might have missed a trick here with, you know, 4 down in the 8th over and gone quite defensive. I think, you know, we can squeeze in mid-wicket. Mid-wicket's been a big open space here for them to tick over. Obviously, boundaries haven't been easy to come by, but they have been able to tick the scoreboard over. attack the first half of the over, defend the second half of the over. I think maybe he could have done that a little bit. They're certainly still in box seat though. Steelbacks.
Absolutely. 11.5 overs. If you'd have offered 79 for 4, they'd say thanks very much.
Absolutely.
Safe save, gets a fingertip to it, keeps it down to just a single. So it's 80 for 4 after 12. Zabe's over's gone, 4-12 exactly. 6 off the first ball, just allowed Durham to knock the ball around for the remaining 5. 2 batters get together in the middle. What do you reckon the chat is then between Ackerman and Turner? Ackerman now on 41.
I think they're going to get on or talk about getting after Freddie early on. Don't let him settle. Certainly need to put pressure on Freddie early on. He's, you know, if you let Freddie settle in, he can be a dangerous bowler. He's got good variations, bowls at a good pace as well. So sometimes he's quite hard, especially when you're coming in against him, to get going. I think they will be saying we're running well because keep pushing the fielders. That's one thing that they've done really well. They've been able to rotate the strike. Sort of quietly gone about his business, Ackers, and he's up to 41 off 32 balls.
Heldrick, she said, starts from the David Capel end, and it's going to be swept away to open the over. A couple of runs added off the bat of Ashton Turner. Genuine wicket taker, Freddie Heldrick, as well, isn't he? He had a brilliant start to the season last year. Not been at his best this year, I don't think. 7 wickets at an average of 25. Finished second only to AJ Ty for the Steelbacks in 2023 in terms of wickets. On cue ended by Ashton Turner. McManus aware of the situation, just in case that back foot moved. That'll be that extra pace that you were just speaking about. That time, Turner advances. That's gone up. There's going to be 2 fielders coming underneath it. What a catch.
It's a great catch.
Vasconcelos makes the ground, gets underneath it, ends up going fingers pointing up. Heldrick gets his first wicket. Durham are 5 down, and the Australian Ashton Turner has gone for 19.
It's a great wicket by Freddie, brought into the attack there. They've just got some nice momentum going under the Durham pair, putting on nearly 40 together.
Yeah, it was 41 off 29, that partnership. In the context of the game, it just had a feeling, didn't it, of kind of wrestling Durham back into it. And
absolutely, absolutely. We'll certainly want to try and keep the momentum going here. As I say, it's normally quite hard to start against Freddie when you've not faced him too often. Gets a bit of extra bounce. He's got a real tall release point. I know he's been working on that googly, so, you know.
I can tell you're employed by England when you're talking about release points, can't we?
Yeah, you're certainly looking for certain attributes in bowlers of what makes them effective. Bounce is certainly one of them. Whether that's seam or spin, and Freddie does get some bounce. It makes him quite hard to play the sweep shot and stuff like that. Obviously, they want to target the shorter edge, but it's not as easy just to sweep Freddie until you get used to the bounce that he gets.
Yeah, it's quick wrist spin as well, isn't it? And probably a little bit quicker than what there is on the circuit, I would say.
Absolutely. Probably the batters that have had the most success against him have probably paddled him over the keeper's head rather than tried to sweep him. And it just drags his length a bit fuller.
That's the leader.
Close LBW shout there.
Yeah, the new man for Durham. In at number 7, Heldrick on the money, challenging the Dutch overseas straight away. Big LBW appeal. First up, umpire says no. Good appeal. 82 for 5. That one allowing the leader to get off the mark with a single. It's a deep mid-wicket.
Bass delayed. He's a really exciting cricketer. Again, another one. Ball's good pace and get it to swing. Very handy with the bat as well. Scored some valuable runs, and he really benefited from coming over and playing the county game. Won't want to play too many championship matches in Holland. Actually, some red ball cricket. I think the basics of his game, which you have to be good at in red ball cricket, has really kicked on his his own game. What a great over.
What a great over. 4 runs coming off it, and the big wicket of Ashton Turner. Fred Heldrick gets a round of applause from the Northants faithful. 13 overs, 84 for 5. All eyes on who's going to bowl from the Lynn Wilson Centre. I think it's going to be a change of ends for Ashton Agar, isn't it?
Yeah, great move. Ashton's bowled really well. Again, bigger pockets here for him to bowl into, be smart with. You're also going across the ball then to get it into the big pocket. So hopefully a couple of chances here. He's been really smart with the pace he's bowled at, changing his pace, being proactive with the field.
Yeah, 2 overs, none for 13 for Ashton Agar. Opening his account for the Steelbacks in the T20 Blast. Colin Ackerman on strike. He's 42 not out of 33, 4 fours and the 6. That's a powerful shot. Wow. That's really well fielded by Vasconcelos to take the pace off that at extra cover. Keeps it down to just 2. I don't think I've seen many people hit cricket balls harder than that.
He certainly times it really well. I think you'll find with Ackers, he'll try and give himself a little bit of room and sort of square drive it, sort of like flat bat. It's really, really strong wrist. And if you get too straight, he'll try and flick you just over 45, go a bit finer with it. Boy.
That's very, very well done by Ashton Agar, fielding off his own bowling. Ackerman there.
I think he recognised it, doesn't it, Ashton? He's changing the sweeper there just to know that. I'm going to try and get him more through the covers and backward point. It just holds up. It does just hold up this end. Always has done. So it's more in front of square than behind square.
On pace on, fired into the stumps. The leg by McManus tidies that one up. It's Ackerman down the non-strikers end, which I don't think Northants will be that disappointed about. 44 off 36. The leader, having faced just 2 deliveries, takes guard. Face up against Agar for the first time. 87 for 5 off 13.5 overs.
Here we go. This is the field that I was asking for earlier on. So Vasco should be coming across now to mid-wicket. It's not just an easy one into the leg side. Might expose the stumps as well if he wants to go offside, but should get a bit of, hopefully build a bit of pressure on pass.
They do take on Vasconcelos for that single in the leg side.
That's a shame. It's a real good move. That I was sort of hoping they'd done that early on. That's what I was sort of getting at, to try and squeeze a little bit, especially when you had the team 3-4 down at mid-wicket. When it's vacant like that, there's so much room for them to get the ball into.
Feels if there's half a run out there at the moment, Ackerman's taking it. Goes for the reverse sweep and doesn't connect with it. And again, Ackerman wanted the single. The leader not interested in taking on Freddie Heldrick as he runs in from short third man. Couple of balls left of this over. Just gone for 3 so far with the leg bye. David Willey and Ashton Agar just getting their field in order. It would have been Dave Willey's voice that you would have heard through the effects mic. That's going to be a dot ball to finish the over. 14 now have been bowled. 88 for 5.
That's great work from Ashton with the field. You know, he shot out deep point there after he just played the reverse, and he didn't connect with the reverse, and it was a dot, but to change the field, trying to encourage a different shot. Well executed. Another smart move by Ashton. He's been really proactive with everything he's done here, changing the pace, changing the field.
Freddie Heldrick continues from the David Capel end. Successful over last time. Delators on strike, advances, gets the single down to long on. It's Ackerman back on strike. 44 off 38. Yeah, I wouldn't be at all surprised if we see a run out in this innings so far. It certainly feels that that's the game plan, isn't it? To put the pressure back on the fielders.
Absolutely, it's definitely on.
That one there, single, just run down backward of point to Ben Sanderson. Fielding in front of the ice cream van and the Sidge stands.
Nice throw as well from Sando. Just landed the ball in the wicket ends. Just looking to soften the ball up a little bit. Hopefully get a bit of tail. I can't remember what game it was. Might have been the Leicester game, to be fair. Just started getting a bit of tail, did Dave Willie. And Rafi back end. As soon as the ball starts reversing, it's the difference between sometimes the middle of the bat and the inside half. And they executed really well.
Gone. Deleda tries to pull Freddie Heldrick over mid-wicket. That one might have been a little bit slower from Freddie.
It's that bounce he just gets. It's just got big on him and he's bottom edged it into the stumps, I think. Held it back. You say held it back?
I think so, yeah. I think so. And another wicket. 90 for 6. Heldrick's got 2. We're talking up Rafi Weatherall. We've not even seen him.
Saving him for the last over.
If it gets that far.
That is true.
Coming to bat for Durham, number 10, Michael Jones.
Michael Jones, the new man for Durham. Colin Ackerman's going to be looking for someone to hang around for a little while. Michael Jones, so far this season, 85 runs. Was part of Scotland's T20 World Cup squad in the US and the Caribbean. Just played the 2 Blast games, 3 Blast games this summer. Starts with a full toss down to long on and goes straight away. 90 for 7. Michael Jones, the next to depart for Durham. And as body language goes, it strikes me that it doesn't look like it's feeling like Durham's day. Heldrick's on a hat-trick.
Absolutely not. We'll take them, though. I think Freddie will be happy. Another wicket in the end column. Probably not the best ball he's bowled, but as we've seen earlier on, you need a bit of fortune in this game, and he's bowled really well as Freddie. He's executed really well, and one that hasn't quite came out as well as the others, and he's got himself a wicket with it, but he certainly earned it. Came on to bowl at a crucial stage, I'd say, with looked like Durham were getting set with a good partnership and came on and broke it and getting Turner.
Ben Dorcius, the new man. Heldrick on a hat-trick. David Willey getting the field right for this delivery. This was club cricket, which it clearly isn't. We wouldn't have anybody in the rope at the moment, would you? For
everybody in
for a hat-trick.
Short leg.
Leg slip.
I'm expecting a googly here from Freddie.
It's 4 inside the circle. They're in off the... And it just drifts on to leg stump. It was a full toss. Dwarcius gets off the mark. First time of asking. Double wicket over for Freddie Heldrick. 3 for 7 off 2 overs for the left arm wrist spinner. And 15 overs now have been complete in this innings. The score is 90 for 7. And I hope Ackerman's feeling strong, or he's got some broad shoulders, because it feels like it's all on him.
It's certainly been an important knock by Ackers, the way he's held it together here.
Half the runs for Durham off the bat of Colin Ackerman so far. 90 for 7, and Colin Ackerman's got 45 of them. The non-strikers end to start Ashton Agar's 4th and final over. And Dorcius on strike. Agar starts the over, pace on. Not really given many opportunities for Durham to get their hands underneath it.
Yeah, he's come round the wicket as well, as he's just tried to create that angle, I suppose. If you're going to slog sweep him or take him on. Might just be harder to connect.
Nicely timed out to Matt Bretsky. Back in his normal position in front of the cinch stands. Dorcius picks up the single. It's to the non-striker's end. 3 T20 internationals for Australia. Ben Dorcius.
Ashton's going to encourage Jackers to take him over long or mid-on. He's kept the reverse sweep field out.
Ackerman takes on Rafi Weatherall. Picks up another single. On T20-50 for Ben Dorcius. That's going to help, isn't it? That's gone over the covers, down towards the Super Sopper and the electronic scoreboard as well. What a shot that was. Strikes at 127 in his T20 career, Ben Dorcius. 21, that's now 22 sixes.
I reckon quite a lot of them have been a slog sweep if he's anything like other fast bowlers. Like a big slog sweep to a spinner.
Bit of big bash bragging rights here as well. Oh, there's a peel for caught behind. McManus goes up for it, but it's going to be a dot ball to finish the over. 99 for 7 after 16, and the round of applause goes round Wantage Road for Ashton Agar, who finishes his spell. 4 overs, no maidens, none for 24. And a good start to his spell in Northampton.
That was a really impressive spell, the way he's gone about it. He's used the fielders really well, changed the pace really well, got the grips with the wicket. You know, about to play some big shots to get runs off him. Real smart move.
4 overs to go, 99 for 7. Heldrick continues. That is going to be another 6. Heldrick's given that one a bit of flight, and that one's gone into the top tier of the Spencer Lounge for the bat of Colin Ackerman. Luckily, that's not done any damage there. That's hit that window pretty hard.
Ooh. Bit of double glazing up there, I think. He's just started going a bit full, hasn't he, Freddie? You think when he first started off, he hit a good length and was getting a bit of bounce. And now he's just starting to leak a bit full. He's seen a couple of full tosses and stuff. So he just needs to get control of that length. No, and that's quite hard to hit him off the length because of the bounce he gets. There we go. He's back on it now.
That's 6 off that previous ball. Brings up the 50 for Colin Ackerman, who's been absolutely brilliant. 52 off 42 deliveries. Aldrich into his 3rd over straight, and there's width on offer. That one's carved through the offside, and it's going to be cut off in front of the heavy sweep for just a single. Earlier in the innings, I reckon Ackerman was coming back for 2 there.
I think your call of a run out is probably getting more and more in favour of that happening when the more Ackerman bats with the fast bowlers and the spinners that are coming in.
Yeah, Dorcius, Parkinson, Souter, the last 3 men for Durham. 100, of course, up in this over as well. 106 for 7 now. That one timed nicely. Backward of point. It's going to do a... Oh, that's fielding. Brilliant. What a brilliant bit of fielding by Gus Miller on the cover point boundary. Full-length dive. For a second there, Dorcius was thinking he's timed that well enough to beat the man.
That's a great bit of work by Gus.
That one, however, needs to be fetched back from the Curo Wealth Lounge. 2 6s in the over. She said, Freddie, maybe just pushing this ball a little bit too full. Dorcius gets his 2nd 6 of his innings. He's 16 off 8 deliveries at Wantage Road. Gets to that stage of an innings where you run out of time. You've got a twist, haven't you? And if it doesn't work, well, we've got a low score. If it does, you've suddenly got 135 to bowl at.
That's it. Absolutely. I think you're spot on. I think they've got to go and give themselves a good enough total here that they can, you know, back themselves to try and bowl or restrict the Steelbacks. But, you know, 100, 120 is probably not going to be good enough. But when you start talking about 130, 140, he's certainly got something to bowl at that.
Well fielded on the leg side. So it's just a single to end the 17th over. 115 for 7 now. 3 overs to go. It looks like we are going to see Rafi Weatherall for the first time this afternoon. Well, the 17th, or sorry, the 18th, and we would imagine the 20th if everything goes to plan. Who do you reckon? Oh, it'll be David Willey, won't it, from the David Caper lens?
Go the other end, yeah. I think just with Freddie there, I think you can watch spinners bowl and think about getting this lovely up and down flight and delivery. I think that's great for red ball cricket, and you come to white ball cricket and you watch the way Ashton bowled there with driving into the wicket, trying to get it to hold into the wicket or the odd one to skid on. I think that's the craft of white ball cricket, and I suppose the purist of when you talk about red ball cricket and spinners is getting it up and down and get it to bounce out the surface or certainly turn out the surface, whereas white ball is about restricting scoring zones, I suppose, and keeping the stumps in play and changing your pace. But yeah, it's he's gone slightly too full, Freddie, almost like he's tried to get a bit of spin on the ball and get a bit of drop, which has just cost him a little bit and gone away from probably what his strength is pace into the wicket and getting the odd one to slip on or the odd one to bounce a bit more. Here comes Freddie now. Very Rafi.
Pace on, and Rafi, would be fair to say, would be the quickest of the Northants seamers available to Dave Willey. 9 wickets in the competition so far, coming at 21s.
He's been really good, hasn't he? And Dave's been talking a lot to him and guiding him through playing. And it's someone you want on your right hand shoulder when you're bowling. It's Dave Willey with his experience.
And they're timed nicely through the offside, but it is just going to be a single. They're not going to take on Matt Bretsky. And plus as well, at this stage of the innings, you're going to want as many deliveries for Colin Ackerman as possible. 53 off 46 with room to accelerate as well.
We've seen this a lot, haven't we, with Dave stood next to Rafi and just making sure he's calm and he knows what he's looking to do and what field he's looking to do it to.
Yeah, just have one eye on the clock. The cutoff 10 to 4, 9 minutes to complete this over and the next.
Looks like he might be going slightly wide haul or.
Oh, it's a horrible one there for Freddie Heldrick. It's one of those that it comes so quick. You don't think you can dive forward for it. It's got him on the half volley. He's done well, isn't he, there? Just to get the body behind it and make sure he stops it. The most important thing is stopping one of those. And it's going to be spinning as well. And
he's done well there, just to let it hit him, I suppose. It has gone very quick.
One of those bits of fielding that offers you the opportunity to look a bit daft on a cricket field, doesn't it? That is just a single. It's well fielded. 2 singles off the first 3 balls of the over. That's a wide Yorker that doesn't quite carry to safe save at point. That's going to be another single. A brilliant bit of fielding again. 19 off 12 for Dwarshuis. 118 for 7. 17.4 overs. Ackerman back on strike. 56 off 44. Pace off from Rafi Weatherall. It is just going to be another single. What an over this has been.
Great change of pace. He's got an awkward action as Rafi, the way he delivers it from, but he's got a quick arm as well, which makes his slow ball really effective and hard to pick up. But the fact that, he's got that awkward action, but when pace is on the ball, tends to take it away from the batter, the right-handed batter, and can get it to tail later on.
Dwarshuis steps across, tries to muscle him over the leg side and can't connect with it. Comes through for a single, throws his head back in frustration as he makes his ground. A good over, which is warmly received by the Steelbacks fans. 120 for 7 then, Durham. 12 legal deliveries left in the innings. Dwarshuis on 20. He'll be the man on strike. Ackerman 55 off 45. David Willey, Ravi Papara in conversation. David Willey and Ben Sanderson, I think, in conversation now. Both of
It's going to
them
be Ben Sanderson.
make their way towards the umpire. Sanderson takes the cap off. So we were both wrong. It's not going to be the captain. It's going to be Ben Sanderson. What do you think about that as a move?
Yeah, look, it's interesting how, like, Sando's bowled a lot of death over the years. He's got some good skills. I expect to see some knuckleballs. I expect to see some mix between Yorkers and knuckleballs and try and get hit out to the longer edge. He's coming round the wicket. He's going to bowl at his feet.
Yeah, Dwarshuis.
Sorry, over the wicket. He's going to bowl at his feet, I imagine.
On strike, 2 massive sixes. That one is muscled down towards the com save. Initially, fantastically fielded by the skipper, David Willey. Unfortunately, couldn't quite gain control of it, could he? Ends up pushing it a bit further around the boundary rope. But a brilliant effort from the captain first up. Just couldn't quite catch hold of it. But a boundary to start the over. And Dwarshuis' onslaught continues. 24 of 14, 1 4, 2 sixes. Been a great little inning so far from the big Australian. That one's gone
cameo.
straight up. There's McManus is underneath it. McManus takes it. The cameo comes to an end. It's worked for Durham. Maybe not worked for as long as they'd have hoped, but 24 off 15 certainly gone some distance to giving Durham a bit of a target to have a bowl at. And Sanderson goes short of ball and picks up his 3rd wicket of the afternoon. Good catch by Lewis McManus as well.
Great call by the skipper, bringing Ben Sanderson into the attack. It's worked. He's got himself a wicket. Parkinson coming in now to bat. Great delivery by Sando, slamming it into the middle of the wicket and getting it up high. Walsh has not been able to control the pull shot and get the top edge.
Yeah, an important wicket with 10 or 11 balls left in the innings at that point. The way that Dwarshuis was striking them, it wouldn't have been out of the question for Durham to have got to 140, 145, maybe 150.
Yeah, definitely. He was striking it well, wasn't he? Dealing in boundaries almost.
Yeah, the first real man to kind of walk out and do exactly that. Ackerman's batted really nicely, but it took him a little while to get going, didn't it? And well, frantic between the crease, I think would be fair to say. Dwarshuis went out there with a plan. Parkinson,
Definitely.
the new man on strike. That one drifts down the leg side. Eyes on the umpire.
I like this, like the way Dave and Ravi are just squeezing that mid-wicket and an extra cover. Just knowing that you can't just drop and get Ackerman on strike. You're going to have to play a decent shot to get it past them. It means they're still trying to put pressure on rather than just accepting they're just going to tick along to the end of the game. 3
balls left in the 19th over. And that's gone straight through Callum Parkinson. Sanderson's got 4. And that's the number 10's leg stump. Rocked backwards and knocked out the ground at Wantage Road. Durham are 124 for 9 now. What feels like has been the last 5 overs. Colin Ackerman's been stranded at the non-strikers end, which has been brilliant game management by David Willey and Northants.
Absolutely, it's incredible. You got one guy at the other end on 55 off 45 deliveries, and the batters have fallen around him, unfortunately, for Durham. But fortunate for the Steelbacks that they keep picking up wickets and restricting them to what will be, or should be, a good total to chase. Just one thing on Rafi, young cricketer, coming on at pressure moments. He's handled it so well from what I've seen. His execution's been superb. He's not shied away from the challenge. The composure he's had has been great to see. I mean, remember last year when he was playing for England 19s against Australia down here? I know the England coaches and the staff that were involved there were really impressed with the way he goes about his cricket.
Nathan Souter, the new and final man for Durham, picks up a single off the first ball of his innings. Give Ackerman just a last ball of Sanderson's over here to deal with. Ackerman go boundary here, or does he go one and try and keep the strike for the next over?
So, yeah, it's an interesting call. I think Sauter's a real dangerous batter. I know he's coming in at 11, but he hits the ball sweetly and to unorthodox areas. He's got the single he wanted.
He did get the single he wanted. I don't necessarily think he executed the way that he would have planned. That one, I think, was disappearing over the press box if he'd have connected. A great over for Northants and a great over for Sanderson. He finishes his day's work with 4 wickets for 14 on 4 overs. What a spell that is. And it's going to be Rafi again, the man that you were just talking up, to finish the innings from the Lynn Wilson centre end.
I imagine he's going to go full and straight, trying to tail it back into the stumps with the odd slow ball into the wicket. Obviously getting them hit now to the longer edge. Done it really well this year, hasn't he, the way he's gone about it?
Certainly has. 6 balls left. That's gone straight up. That might be coming through the window here.
That's into us.
Not quite. Not quite. Down, out of the ground. Ashton Agar watches it disappear over the boundary rope. Underarms it back to the skipper. What a start. Good start to the final over for Durham. 6 off the first ball. 135. 132 for 9. Scoreboard takes a little while just to catch up. Ackerman now on 62. Dave, Willie and Rafi get together again.
Everything about this is saying slow ball into the wicket. Oh, he's gone pace on.
That's flown through as well, that, hasn't it?
Yeah, he's got good pace, as Rafi. He's an exciting cricketer. As I say, everyone's been so impressed and talking really highly of this young man, the talent he's got.
Yeah, he's certainly someone to look out for as his career develops. That's for certain. Can't take him out of the team at the moment. And somebody of his age, you'd think, oh, we can rest him 1 week. And Ackerman goes for the scoop, gets it, and gets it all the way for 6 as well. 2 6s then off the first half of the final over. 138 for 9. Ackerman moves to 68. Durham have got a score to bowl at now.
It's going to be good. I'll be impressed if they manage to match Northance's power play, but you never know. We've got some good bowlers in their lineup. Ben Rain being one of them with 16 wickets this year, but there's that pace off.
Yeah, short ball pace off. Oh, it's
another great
good
stop.
Again by Gus Miller. And again, just gets enough pace off it. For a second then, he'd have been looking at it going, oh no, what have I done? Keeps it inside the boundary rope. And it is just going to be a couple of runs. 140 now.
Fantastic work by Gus. This is minimum standards, I suppose, when Sad speaks about the energy and what he wants to see in the field from people. It's throwing the bodies on the line and trying to just make that extra yard up.
2 balls left, and that's going to be a dot ball. Would have been a leg by if they wanted it, but Sauter made sure that Ackerman has the final ball of the innings to face. And why wouldn't you? 70 off 51, 4 4s and 4 6s in the innings. Bearing in mind, Durham have scored 140 as a team. Ackerman's got 70 by himself. Partnership 16 off 7. What can Ackerman do? What can Weatherall do? 140 for 9, last ball. Powerfully struck.
Great
and
catch.
David Willey takes the catch to complete the innings. 140 all out then, Durham, or 40 overs. Rafi Weatherall picks up the final wicket, the final ball of the innings. And there we go. We've got a game on. 141 to win for the Steelbacks. That's been a great recovery from Durham.
It has. The way Ackerman's played there is superb. He's got himself to, or certainly got the team to a target which they'll back themselves to try and come out and put the Steelbacks under pressure in a couple of early wickets. You never know what could happen in this game. So Yeah, really impressive stuff by Ackers. More impressive by the way the Steelbacks have gone about this display in the field. Some wise bowling changes, some good moves in field placements, some good execution and skill as well along the way. So I think the Steelbacks will be going in pretty happy with things and the score that they've got to chase. But probably at the debrief, they might speak about how we could have, gone even better, because at one stage you're probably looking at if they were getting anywhere around 110, that would be a good effort from Durham to get to that stage. So yeah, there's a couple of things they've probably sharpened up on, but they'll be very impressed with how they've gone about their really impressive stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's take a 5-minute break as the teams change innings. Matt Bretsky and Vasconcelos will be up in the dressing room getting their pads on. And Durham will be making their way out, and those bowlers that you've spoken so highly of will be getting loose. 141 to win. I say we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
And Ravi Rahara 2 overs to 1 wicket for 23. So Durham all out for 140. The target then for the Steelbacks in the chase will be 141. Well, it was a dynamite start for the Steelbacks. Maiden off the first over, bowled by David Willey. Sando bowled the second. There was a 4, but Sando did take 2 wickets. And David Willey bowled a maiden over. A wicket maiden over, rather. And that was followed by a maiden over from Sando. After 4 overs, Durham were 4 for 3. Steelbacks saw 5 players for Durham dismissed without scoring. But it was Colin Ackerman carrying them to a very healthy target. Durham all out for 140 off their 20 overs. Target in the chase, 141 for the Steelbacks. Huge thanks to our match sponsors today, T3 Sites, our timing sponsors, Stefan's Jewelers, and our principal club partners, Curo Wealth, Gaffavet, Cinch, Heavy, Bartercard, and ECL Civil Engineering. Thanks also to all our official partners of the club and members of our 1878 Business Club for their ongoing support of Northlands Cricket. And After today, we have only 4 more games to go in the Vitality Blast group stages, 3 of which are away, only 1 of which is here at home. We face high-flying Birmingham Bears on Thursday the 18th of July. Be here to support your Steelbacks. Buy tickets in advance, you'll save money that you're on the match day. Go to nccc.co.uk/blast to book your place. Big week next week at Walton Road. The World Championship of Legends is coming to the county ground. 6 international sides comprised of true cricketing legends are playing all next week from the 8th and 12th of July. All starts tomorrow at 5. Then we've got a double header on Tuesday, a double header on Wednesday, and the semi-finals on Friday. Come and see some of cricket's finest in Northampton in what will no doubt be some thrilling T20 cricket. Buy your tickets at nccc.co.uk/WCL. So a huge second innings on the way. Northants definitely have work to do to chase down the target set by Durham. Would you please welcome back to the middle our umpires James Treadwell and Ben Devon. You welcome back the fielding side for the second innings, led by Captain Alex Leeds, Durham Cricket. And opening the batting for the Steelbacks, wearing number 3, sponsored by Cinch, Matt Bretstein.
Welcome back, everybody. Second innings about to get underway here at Wantage Road. The players make their way back out to the middle. The Steelbacks require 141 to win against Durham. Openers Ricardo Vasconcelos and Matt Beretsky make their way out to the middle. My name's Dan Jadzovic. I'm joined by Chris Liddle. You said you were interested in a pretty good game of cricket at the start. I think we're on for a pretty good game of cricket at the moment. Have you decided which way your 50p is going to go now?
I think Steelbacks have to be favourites. I think chasing 140. I think that they walked off happy with that, and I think they'll feel like they're pretty confident going into this chase. I think the power play is going to play a massive part. I know it's a bit of a cliche, but you know, Steelbacks managed to get Durham 3 down for 20 in the power play. Sort of killed what any momentum they could have got with the bat, taking early wickets. I think, yeah, my 50p's on the Steelbacks.
It felt like everything just sped up a little bit, didn't it? As that first innings went on, the pitch felt like it just came through a little bit better. The outfield got a little bit quicker. And you'd expect that. It'd been under covers. There had been weather about. So hopefully from a Steelbacks perspective, that's the case. But Ben Dwarshus for Durham will open the bowling. And we'll start with a nice away swinger to Ricardo Vasconcelos. We'll start with 1 slip as well. Durham, I think, though, they've certainly got a score to bowl at. And if they'll look at that power play, as you said, 20 for 3, and they'll go, well, if they get as much movement with this new wide ball, we've got the bowlers to do exactly the same as well.
Yeah, definitely. See from the first ball there was a bit of a way swing, a bit of zip off the surface. Very much how it started for the Steelbacks with the ball. I do think it's going to be all down to the power play. I really do. And the power play for the Steelbacks was outstanding. So, and also they don't have the pressure of the power play. If you know what I mean. So if Durham got off to a bit of a flyer in the power play, the Steelbacks would feel they'd sort of need to do the same, capitalise on it.
Yeah, to match it. That's going to be flicked off the hip. And that will open the account for the Steelbacks. Just the single. One of the two fielders outside the 30-yard circle is located, or what was pretty square, fine leg. So Vasconcelos gets off the mark, takes a long walk down to his opening partner, Matt Bretsky, to pass on the feedback of what he's experienced in those opening 3 balls from Ben Dwarshuis. Bretsky's had a good start, 299 runs in the blast for Northants, an average of 42. Started like a freight train, didn't he? It's just started to slow down and quieten down a little bit, but looking to get Northants over the line here.
I think that's one thing Durham probably lacked in terms of right-left combinations. I think Steelbacks can do it for quite a while. In terms of Dave, Willie, Saif Saeed, got Ravi in there as well. You know, we've got a good mix of right and left, which, you know, as I said before, can just create a bit of extra width, or one that gets slightly too straight and on the pads because of changing angles all the time.
Oh, there's an appeal for OBW. It's a little bit too straight, and that shape from Dwarshuis back into Bretsky's probably just done a little bit too much. It's been a great start from the Australian seamer. Just 1 run coming off the first 5 balls of the over. She said if Northants can win the power play, that will make a huge difference. As it stands at the moment, Durham making life pretty difficult. Oh, that's so close. It's going to be a dot ball to finish the first over. 1 for no loss. Vasconcelos with the single. Bretsky yet to get off the mark. 140 required for Northants. Good start for Durham.
Yeah, started really well there, Dwarshuis. Bit of zip. Plays ball in good pace. A hint of swing as well. So, yeah, good start. Ben Rain now coming on. And Lynn Wilson then, that, like I said before, this end does offer a little bit more in terms of lateral movement and a bit of bounce. We've seen Ben Sanderson make full use of that earlier on with his spell from this end. So this will be a bit of a test. Ben Rain, Durham's leading wicket taker at the moment. And the Vitality Blast. Another one that targets the stumps, targets your forward defence. You don't talk about forward defence much in a T20 game.
Vasconcelos on strike. Vasconcelos guides that one beautifully down through the offside. I don't think that's going to go. Maybe hauled back in. It's not gained any pace. There's a slight incline up towards the players' rooms at Northants. And of course, as I say, it's been a bit soggy. So a couple of runs added to the score a week ago. That probably would have raced up towards the dugouts, wouldn't it? And Vasconcelos wouldn't have moved. 3 for no loss. That one played nicely again. Square of the wicket. Picks up the single. Certainly been a bit of a reminiscent start. I wonder that new ball, maybe a bit of a prouder seam that's just biting into that surface a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. You know, the talk about the white kookaburra swinging for 3, 4 overs max, but it's certainly doing that today. I don't know whether it's because of the downpour we've had and the sun coming out now. It's just offering a bit more through the air. Ben Rain going for a bit more of a split field. He had the same to Vasco. I don't know whether he's just missing the trick there with not being able to squeeze the offside, forcing more shots over the top rather than gaps in the offside.
Bretsky advances at Ben Rain.
He was a long way down there, wasn't he?
A long way. Good, strong forward defence that you mentioned Ben Rain would challenge.
Certainly did.
Certainly the way that these two have started will certainly kind of pays respect to the pitch and to the movement that is on offer.
I'm sure there's been a discussion up there that the new ball did enough. And I know that'll be a bit of a challenge. But the ball did get a bit softer and it did look a bit easier to play. We've seen some of the shots played today, some fantastic striking, whether it's 4 or 6 or whether it's the good drives through the covers and pushing for 1s and 2s. So, like Ben Rain's bringing the keeper up like Ben Sanderson did, just trying to keep him in his crease.
Yeah, the ball
It's a smart move.
Ball before there, Bretsky's just gone outside off stump, trying to work him into that gap at mid-wicket, which has been plugged as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, really trying to squeeze now.
Goes for the ramp, gets something on it, possibly a bit of glove, and can't get it any further than that. So 1 run added, and Bretsky gets off the mark. So 5 without loss with 1 ball left in Ben Rain's first over. Bretsky's just been, I don't know, he's been on the knees a couple of times in this short stay at the crease, isn't he? Just having a bit of a stretch. Vasconcelos to face up against the final ball of Ben Rain's first over. It's gone for 4 so far. Single into the leg side. So 6 without loss for the Steelbacks after 2 overs. That good start for Durham continues. Vasconcelos on 5 and Bretsky on 1.
Ben Rain there, ball into a field that I don't really like, 6-3. I think it just takes away from being able to attack the stumps with a bit of cover. I think that mid-wicket plays a vital part in white ball cricket in terms of cutting angles and forcing more aggressive shots rather than just being able to hit it into big gaps.
Dwarshuis continues from the David Capel end. Again, that shape on offer exploited by the Australian overseas. Vasconcelos beaten for swing again.
It's good pace, isn't it?
It is. I was gonna ask you, what you mentioned about winning the power play. Obviously, Durham were 20 for 3, weren't they? What constitutes winning the power play for Northants? 20 for no loss, is that a win in the power play?
I think they've got to look at things, and it's an interesting question actually, because you always want to take or play a positive way. So you don't just want to survive a power play, because it's your best chance to get scoring boundaries. But sometimes you've got to accept that actually for the next 2 overs, I might just have to absorb a bit of pressure. Ackerman did it really well in terms of, right, my game plan now is to tap and run almost, keep the scoreboard rotating, force fielders to maybe come a bit tighter or change angles to open up gaps. So you've almost got to play with it a little bit to be like, this is what I'm going to do now for the next few balls. Speak to the partner. We're going to keep rotating the strike. It's not as easy, you can see here, to play these big shots. And then when the time comes where you can flip the pressure back on, you go full throttle with hopefully 2 people that are in, rather than 1 person that's in. And like you're seeing with when Ackerman was batting, he always had a new partner. The only real partnership that did get going was with Ashton Turner.
It's certainly not been the game plan so far, has it, for Vasconcelos? That one a bit too straight from Dwarshuis, but it is only going to cost him a single. Graham Clark doing the fielding on the boundary in front of us.
He's had a couple of stints over in England playing county cricket. Dwarshuis, he was with, I think, Worcester a couple of years ago, and probably didn't go as well as what he wanted it to do when he came over. And I know he's gone back and played in the Big Bash and gone really well, and he's been involved with Australia and call-ups, and he plays a lot of franchise stuff or is involved with that. And he certainly looks like he's kicked his game on another bit in terms of his pace and the swing he's bowling with and the control he's got.
It's been a really impressive opening 11 balls here at Wantage Road, isn't it, from him, from the David Capel end. We saw earlier the swing and the skill on offer from David Willey and Ben Sanderson, and say Ben Dwarshuis has matched those guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
1 ball left in this over. Bretsky tries to pick him up over the leg side, gets the bottom edge on it, and it is just going to be another single. What a take that is by the keeper Robinson with a bit of a rogue throw from the boundary. Does really well to cover the ground. 8 for no loss after 3. Vasconcelos on 6. Bretsky on 2. That kind of boisterous Northants crowd that was going on through that first innings, it's just kind of hushed down a little bit, hasn't it? That score maybe of 140 few more than what they'd have hoped for.
Yeah, I think this is a good move by Durham, bringing Bastillade into the attack. Someone that can stand the seam up, will get a bit of lateral movement. Again, at this end, that just does offer a little bit more, especially early on with a newer ball.
Yeah, Bastillade replacing Ben Rain from the Lynn Wilson centre end. First over for Rain. Well, expensive in the context of the power plays that we've had so far today. It went for 5.
Going for a deep point and deep square, mid-wicket in, over the top. He's very stump to stump, his Bass, so he's going to challenge the batter. Try and encourage him to go over the top, maybe.
Starts with a very good Yorker, doesn't he? For
The
Bretsky.
accidental ones are always the best, you know.
You saying that wasn't planned?
I wouldn't have thought so.
Changing the field as well. That man at deep point is just kind of a bit straighter, going to a deep cover. Bretsky goes and can't get it past the man at mid-on. It's really well to cover the ground and cut that one off. Pressure being applied by Durham. 8 for no loss. Just going just under 2.5 runs and over in the power play. Bretsky gets this one past. I think there's been a fingertip stop on that. I don't think it's actually going to go. That's a brilliant bit of fielding in the end. Alex Lees gets a little finger on it, doesn't he? Just to take the pace off. Bretsky would have thought that had raced across the outfield. As it is, he only picks up 3. Good dive by the Durham skipper at mid-on. I thought that was through him. He got the fingertip on it as the board passed him.
Absolutely. Great bit of work by Alex Leeds. Full length dive, fingertip, just took the pace out of the ball.
It's a nice shot by Bretsky. Maybe an indication that he's starting to feel slightly more at home. He's faced 11 balls. Vasconcelos has faced 10. He goes for the ramp. That's gone up over the keeper. And it's gone all the way down towards the advertising hoardings. The first boundary of the innings is a 6, a ramp from Vasconcelos. Maybe this move to Bastillade wasn't the right one.
It's a great bit of work there by Vasconcelos. Just use the pace, just get it over the keeper. Bastillade does get a bit of extra bounce, being right over the top. These shots are quite hard to play if you haven't quite got the timing of Bass. He does stick of the bat quite a lot. That'd be probably, you know, if I was sat in the changing rooms and talking about the opposition bowler, he's quicker than you think, and does get a bit of extra bounce. He's really over the top when he comes to ball release.
A good comeback, having been ramped for 6 the ball before. 9 runs off the first 5 balls. 17 for no loss off 3.5. Can Dalida get out the over? Goes for the ramp again and gets another boundary. 1 bounce 4 this time. There's the over that Northants wanted. That's just defrosted the crowd a little bit here. They were tense. They were nervous after those first 3 and a bit overs. And Vasconcelos has done a little bit there just to liven them back up again. 21 for no loss after 4.
Real smart cricket there by Vasco, using the pace. It's not as easy to go over the mid and mid-off. Get past mid-wicket as well. Obviously with that extra bounce, or just doing a bit, so you start to use the pace and get it over the keeper and short 45 or short third. So, and he's played it really well, hasn't he? 6 and a 4 for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Dwarshus continues from the David Capel end. His 3rd over at the top, and Bretsky goes for a big shot downtown. Doesn't connect. 3 runs off the 2 overs for Ben Dwarshus in this spell so far today. Similarly, Durham using their experience up top whilst the ball is offering to do something.
Definitely the ball so far, asked the most questions has been Dwarshuis, the way he's bowled good pace, as I say, and swung the ball as well.
Nice shot by Gretzky, times it nicely, but picks out Graham Clark again down on the boundary. Just a single, brings Vasconcelos back on strike.
Interesting if Vasco goes for the same option of trying to use the pace and getting it over the keeper.
Yeah, the two men outside that 30-yard circle are down on the boundary to cover that off, though. You've got Graham Clark at almost a long leg, and you've got the other fielder outside has gone down to a deep third. So maybe it's not the option for Vasco this time. And this time he goes square at leg side, down towards Wendell with his flag. Well fielded, the big man. Another boundary for Vasconcelos. Moves to 20 off 14.
They're certainly stuck to the positive way of playing and trying to put pressure back on the Durham bowlers by playing strong cricket shots.
And they just looked a little bit quicker, didn't it, from Dwarshuis in response to being flicked over mid-wicket for 4 the ball before. 26 for no loss off 4.4.
I think it's such a tough ask to bowl to a 6-3 field with only 3 out on the leg side when you want to try and minimise where they can score from. You want to try and challenge in terms of wickets, whether it's bowled, LB, caught behind, whatever it might be. But as soon as you have to take away the stumps and challenging the stumps because you've got no cover on the leg side, I think it's tough.
That's gone again. That's going to be a 1 bounce forward just inside the rope, I think.
And the margin for error is so small now.
See what the umpire signals here. I think it is going to be 4, is it? It is. Quite sure who they were looking for down there to give them a little bit of a signal. Maybe an honest Steelbacks fan just to say that it did bounce inside the rope, but 2 umpires there looking at one another just to make sure on the right decision, I think, was called. It was 4 just inside the rope. Vasconcelos 24, 30 for no loss after 4.5. And it's going to be 30 for no loss after 5 overs. So just a little bit of separation happening between the two sides during this power play. It was a watchful start, as you mentioned, Chris. It's a couple of ways to play a power play, and Northants got through those challenging opening 18 deliveries and didn't lose a wicket. It was 8 for no loss after 3 in comparison to 4 for 3. But after 5, 15 for 3 plays 30 for no loss. So they're just starting to accelerate.
Yeah, I think it's going to take something really good from the Durham bowlers here to try and keep the game within grasp. I think, obviously they got through the tricky period and Durham would have been hoping for early wickets, and it's not happened. And I think the batters are looking pretty set now, especially Vasconcelos, 24-17. Can really put it to the Durham bowlers. So it is going to take something special.
Yeah, Ben Rain comes back into the attack from the Lynn Wilson centre, and that over from Baz Deleda went for 13. Go back to their leading wicket taker in the competition in 2024, Ben Rain. There's 2 fielders out on the leg side, one at deep square, one at deep mid-wicket. Gretzky's on strike. He gets a bit of a tickle on that one down the leg side. He's going to pick up his first boundary of the afternoon. He moves to 10. Bit of a gift there from Ben Rain, 2 straight. That one beat the man at 45 on the inside, run down towards those covers. 34 for no loss after 5.1. Slow ball from Rain. Keeper up to the stumps. Good take as well. That bounced more than maybe Ollie Robinson would have thought. Do you think Ollie Robinson a bit disappointed to have missed out on that test squad? I know it's not really the format, is it, that we're talking about, but he's been overlooked in favour of Jamie Smith.
Yeah, I mean, we've got so many good wicketkeeper batters now in the country. I think it's, the competition for places is high. Obviously, competition drives development in terms of makes, to get that opportunity or to get the selection to join the test squad, you've got to have done something really good or shown signs.
Change in field. Man goes out on the offside. That one's spliced to the bat. Changing the field has worked. That man that came in off the boundary rope from deep mid-wicket into the 30-yard circle. And Bretsky picks that man out in particular and goes first wicket for the Steelbacks. Durham get a breakthrough, 34 for 1 of 5.3. And the South African overseas, who just ticked through the 300-run mark for the campaign so far, has got to go for 10.
Yeah, good bit of ball in there by Ben Rain. He's held his nerve. Bit of extra bounce, maybe just spiced it and caught mid-wicket. Such a crucial fielding position mid-wicket in T20 cricket, white ball cricket, really. In terms of looking the way the bat to shape up to hit the ball.
David Willey, the skipper, the new man for the Steelbacks at number 3. 199 runs this summer, an average of 25. Bowled brilliantly at the top. 3 overs, 2 maidens, 1 for 11.
I think we know how Dave's going to approach this innings.
Tell us, Chris, how's he going?
He's certainly going to look to put pressure on Ben Rain, the other Durham bowlers. Might have a little look for a couple of balls, but he'll certainly be proactive in the way he does stuff.
3 balls left off the power play, and that's timed nicely to open the skipper's account for the afternoon.
Sounded quite nice off the bat, didn't it?
Didn't it? Yeah, nice crack through the effects mic. Straight to the man on the offside boundary, so it is just going to be the single. 35 for 1. 2 balls left of the power play. Can Durham take another Steelback with them out of the power play? Do you think Vasco keeps going here, or do you think it's a case of don't lose another one, don't give us 2 down?
I think keeps going. I think the way they've looked to play, I think they're just going to keep going here, keep putting.
Does exactly that.
Shot.
Yeah, look, almost a short arm jab through mid-wicket by Vasconcelos. Off the back foot, 39 for 1. Vasconcelos on 28 off 18.
Bit of a signature shot that from Vasco. He scored many a run. Just picking up your slightly back of a length delivery and pulling it in front of the square along the ground. Times it so well.
The last ball of the power play. 39 for 1. The field changes again. 2 men out on the leg side. Deep backward square, deep mid-wicket. Slower ball, which is swept by Vasconcelos. Ben Rain disgusted with himself to end that power play. 43 for 1, the Steelbacks. Vasconcelos on 32 off 19. David Willey 1 off 1. The man to depart was Matt Bretsky, 10 off 16.
I think we're going to see some double spin now. I think, yeah, Souter's going to come on from David Capel end. My money's on Parkinson coming on from the Lynn Wilson end. Trying to take a bit of pace out of the game. Oh no, it's not. Colin Ackerman.
You'd been tempted by Dwarshus there? Pick up the wickets whilst you can. You could be talking about a game where Dwarshus maybe doesn't have enough time left to impact the game with 6 balls, or the 6 balls remaining in his spell.
Yeah, good shot. It's, if you haven't picked up wickets and you're still bowling, you'd like to think the batter's starting to get the size of you really and what you can deliver. Start to line you up, but I think it's a good move. 2 left-handers on strike. Off spin of Ackerman, he's again another smart bowler. Changes pace pretty well. Trying to skid a few onto the stumps, trying to get you pulling through that mid-wicket area.
Yeah, should be full of confidence as well after that first innings. Starts with the 2 singles. So yeah, Colin Ackerman replaces Ben Dwarshus from the David Capel end. Fielders can go outside that 30-yard circle, and Alex Lees has elected to send all 5 out straight away. on there, respected by David Willey. Well run. Vasconcelos takes the tumble as he gets past the stumps.
I don't think you'd be too happy there as a bowler. You got two tight people on the offside and a bit of a drop and run. You're a bit annoyed by that. A couple of good balls there to Dave Willey early on. They've managed to get off strike.
Well bowled by Colin Ackerman, takes the pace off, doesn't allow Vasconcelos to drop it into the leg side for the single. So it's been a good over, just 3 runs from it. Final ball of Ackerman's over. And it's just work through mid-wicket for a single. So 4 runs off it, 47 for 1. Vasconcelos 34, Willey 3 or 4. Is it going to be double spin?
Got to get Souter into the attack soon, I think. Yeah, it's Souter.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. The leg spin of Nathan Souter. Well, Freddie Heldrick got success, didn't he? The wristy for Northants. Souter, can he emulate his fellow wrist spinner? We'll be bowling from the other end, though. Heldrick bowled exclusively from the David Capel end. Souter will bowl from the Lynn Wilson centre end.
Yeah, Souter will have the short edge to contend with the wind blowing that way as well. So it'll be a good challenge for him. Second leading wicket take for Durham with 10 wickets this year. And, his move up from Middlesex to Durham's been a real good one for him. Last year, he bowled teams out single-handedly the way he went about it. So canny bowler. Started off well.
Vasconcelos takes the single off the first ball of the over. I spoke about Graham Clark, didn't I, with the bat here for Durham. 5 for 15 for Nathan Souter, or 4 overs here last year as well.
Yeah, I remember him bowling superb. I think he picked up a couple of 5s last year for Durham.
Yeah, picked up, got the wicket of Vasconcelos. Vasconcelos that day made 52. Josh Cobb, Tom Taylor, Rob Keogh, AJ Ty. Vasconcelos goes for the reverse sweep. And it's going to be a wide called by the umpire, which I think is a little bit harsh when you move, when you go to play that shot, when you shape up that shot, I think is a little bit harsh, don't you?
Yeah, it's obviously must be the feet that switch to make it, to open up the offside, maybe, I don't know.
Cut away by Vasconcelos. Can't get it past the man at point. Throws his head back in frustration. 50 up for the Steelbacks as well. 50 for 1 off 7.3 overs.
There's been a lot of talk, hasn't there, about wides and how, how they're given if batsmen move around or reverse sweep or what opens up the leg side in terms of wides, how much the wide, if they move across, how much does the wide line go on the offside? So
a big appeal for OEW. Going to be a leg by. Vasconcelos gets down the other end. What's your thoughts on it generally? I appreciate you might have a fairly kind of militant view as a bowler with regards to the wides.
I think they've got to give us a bit of something back for the bowler. I mean, the margin for error can be pretty small sometimes. Batters are moving around in the crease. I think it still comes down to skill and execution. To be able to move as the batter moves, that's still haven't shown your skill as a bowler. I think it's all about, it's what we want to see is smart, skillful bowlers that can manipulate, the angles and the way the batter's set up and stuff like that. I don't think it can all be set in the batter's favour in terms of they move across to the wide line and the wide line is now only inches. Should definitely go. It's about, has the bowler got the skill to execute the wide line still? That's moved slightly from the blue line that you'll be able to see on the screen. So I definitely think they have to give something back to the bowlers.
I guess it does become a little bit difficult and complicated where at that point there it becomes subjective, doesn't it, as to how far that wide line may or may not have moved. Ackerman continues from David Capeland. As you'd expect, that first over was brilliant. Durham getting through these overs. These overs of spin have just gone through pretty quickly here. David Willey, oh, it's close, isn't it? Goes up and over or through the offside, in fact. Durham fielder still on his knees. Couldn't believe how close that was. It's the skipper, isn't it? Is it the skipper, Alex Lees, there at short cover?
That's a small gap that he's managed to smash the ball through, I suppose, rather than thread it. He's certainly not left nothing behind on that shot.
First boundary for David Willey. Ackerman responds, pace on, defended back to the bowler. 57 for 1.
Yeah, good shout from you. They're just rattling through the overs, aren't they? Durham with the spin. Oh, he's done the other way now.
Willey goes again. 2 boundaries in 3 balls for the Northants skipper. Just insult to injury, just checks the toe of that bat as he gets back to his mark. Good over for the Steelbacks. 61 for 1. 2 balls left in this over. Pace on by Ackerman. That's turned into the leg side. Willey takes the single on offer. Give Vasconcelos the single delivery at the end of this over to deal with. Vasconcelos, you'd say his strength would be against pace bowling as well. So potentially that's a match-up situation against the Northants opener to go spin both ends.
Yeah, definitely. I think Durham, to be fair, you know, Souter and Parkinson are up there, the 2 leading wicket takers in the top 3 for them. Obviously, bigger ground up there, up at Durham as well. It's obviously a plan that they've got in terms of taking pace out the ball, using the spin, trying to squeeze, force bigger shots. I think even Ben Rain, when he comes on back end, it's very much slow balls and changes of pace rather than certain pace on all the time. So
62 for 1 after 9 overs. Leg spinner Souter to continue from the Lynn Wilson centre. And David Willey will be on strike. He's on 14 off 11. Picks up those 2 boundaries in that previous over. Goes again through the offside. It's going to be a single down to Graham Clark. Watches that well, allows it to spin. Sets himself, makes sure that it is just that single.
Desperate need of a wicket here, Durham.
Well, this will be the matchup that I think they'll fancy themselves picking one up. Vasconcelos just couldn't get Souter away, could he, in that previous over? And again, that one's gone through. Almost prey on Vasconcelos' frustration here, I suppose, if he can't get the leg spinner away.
Certainly trying to keep it out of the arc of the slog sweep and going across him. It's just whether Vasco steps into the channel a little bit and tries to take that slog sweep onto the short edge or go reverse.
That one timed nicely through the leg side. There'll be an initial look for 2, but fielder there quick in off the boundary rope, so it will just be a single. David Willey, the skipper, back on strike. He's looked more comfortable against spin in this innings so far. On a really flighted delivery from Souter. There will be a look for 2, and Vasconcelos is going to come back for a second with a dive. Oh, that's close.
A bit of fielding by Basta laid out and in the deep. Direct it, I think he might have been close, but had to go to the ball to take the stumps off. Good scampering by Vasconcelos to get back.
That's well judged, wasn't it? I was expecting to see a diving Vasconcelos there. Smart work by Souter as well to take that cleanly and whip the bails off. Flighted again and it's out. I thought that might have been a bump ball there, Ligs, but
yeah, just a little toe end or something, trying to work it into the leg side, just sort of scooped it back to the ball. A great catch by Souter, but he'll be disappointed with that, Dave. He's setting nicely, timing the ball nicely, and he's just not timed it nicely and chipped it back to the bowler. So a bit of a disappointing end for Dave, who's looking really set there with Vasco, getting a good partnership.
Yeah, it was a soft one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The naked eye there, I was thinking bump ball. Oh, there's a crowd catch we're going to be talking about, but actually with the benefit of the replay there, you can see that it's gone straight off the toe of the bat, and Souter's taken a great catch, diving away to his left. 66 for 2. Maybe not the wicket that they thought they were going to get out of those two, but the one that they'll be quite happy to see the back of.
Definitely. I think if Dave got going, it could have been over in the next 6-7 overs. So they'll be happy to see the back of the back of Dave, and certainly a wicket that Durham needed to get, well, hopefully from their point of view, the game going in their direction. But Ravi Bopara coming in now, another man with immense experience.
Yeah, he's Ravi Bopara, the man at number 4 for the Steelbacks. 66 for 2. Souter's got 1 left in this over, and Bopara gets off the mark straight away. There'll be a look for 2. Bopara says no. 67 for 2 after 10 overs then. At the same stage, Durham were 59 for 4. So there's not a huge gap in terms of total score, is there? Obviously, Durham have lost an extra couple of wickets by this stage, but this was that period where Ackerman and Turner were building that partnership. Northants wrestled that back and picked up wickets, and there were a few cheap overs that are going to come later in their innings. But yeah, Durham are still there.
Yeah, certainly. I think another good move bringing Parkinson into the attack now. Another one that's taken 9 or so wickets for Durham this year. Another one, he made a move, hasn't he, full time this year to Durham. He's settled in really well. Skillful left arm spinner.
On down the leg side, and the leg by called by the umpire. Went through Ollie Robinson, didn't he? He couldn't get around to it. He spent a lot of time behind the stumps there unsighted with those that just drift down the leg side. Vasconcelos trying to work that up to mid-on and can't get it past the diving Parkinson on his follow-through. Reverse sweep. Oh, what a shot that is by Vasconcelos. We said there wasn't much of a gap from that delivery, that boundary from David Willey. I think there might have been a smaller one there for Vasconcelos to thread that through. Thread it through so fine he did. The two fielders didn't even move. What a shot.
It's a lovely cricket shot from Vasco. It's such a nice player to watch when he's in full flow, the way he finds gaps, the way, you know, the bat swing is. He's lovely to watch. And dangerous person to have to bowl that, because he can hit your best ball for 4.
Moves to 40, moves to 41 with that single down to long on. 73 for 2. Certainly, I think Ricardo Vasconcelos at the top of the order in the blast, probably missing that match-winning big score, isn't he? I think at the top of the order, gets a lot of 30s, 40s, 50s, and hasn't yet gone on to get a big one.
No, but you know, he's got it in him. He's definitely got it in him. So again, he's only a youngster. He's still learning his way. He burst onto the scenes, didn't he, a few years ago now? But
it's a big sweep, and he's gone.
He's got him.
Parkinson gets him. The change of bowling work from the David Capel end. Ackerman was replaced by Callum Parkinson. We were just talking up Ricardo Vasconcelos, how good he'd looked and the potential and the burst onto the scene. And the spinner gets his man, just fires it through a bit quicker. Vasconcelos goes for an orthodox sweep. Goes 41 off 33. Steelbacks 3 down. 74 for 3 now. And Saif Zaid makes his way out to the middle at number 5.
Shame for Vasco. I do think it was the right option. Try and get it fine over 45 almost. But good bowling from Park. He just changed of pace there, just trapped him on the crease, almost like he was on the next page in terms of reading the batter there and what he was looking to do. So fair play to Parkinson, another experienced left arm seamer that's been and done it many a time and made the right call on that move to go a bit quicker, a bit fuller to get the LBW.
11 overs complete in the run chase. 74 for 3. Northants require 67 from 54. And the leg spin of Nathan Souter will continue from the Lynn Wilson centre end. The wicket at the end of that previous over. Man, the captain, 2 overs, 1 for 10 for the leggy. Bapara will be on strike, 2 off 3. Starts flighted, and that's brilliantly fielded at cover.
There's your crowd catch.
Nicely timed, wasn't it, as well, by Bapara? And there was a little nibble from the crowd. On into the surface, pulled away by Bapara. It's going to be well fielded down in front of the cinch stands. Just the single. Interesting on a pitch that's swung around, that spin's been so effective, isn't it? Like,
yeah, it just seems that it's just holding in that little bit more than, or certainly what they'd expected to, and it's been quite hard to time the ball, really. Still, you've got to ball well and you've got to put it in the right areas, and the bad balls can still get punished. So it's going to be a good game of cricket. There's not much runs in it now, to be fair. At the end of this, I think, end of this over, I think Durham were 80 for 4. Currently, Steelbacks 75 for 3. So
yeah, Durham have done really well to keep themselves in this game. Safe save. Oh, gets off the mark straight away, but terrific bit of field in there, wasn't it? Direct hit, and safe save wasn't exactly sprinting that single. Gets through, gets down the other end. He's had a lean season in the Blast so far. Safe saves, 68 runs in the matches that he's played so far. We know he's a much better cricketer than those numbers suggest, just averaging 13.
absolutely, Safe's an incredibly exciting cricketer who played some really important knocks last year for us, the Steelbacks, and taking teams apart, especially at the back end, the areas that he hits to. So, no, it's a challenge for him to get through a bit of a lean patch. And again, another young cricketer that's still learning his trade.
Nicely placed by Bapara. They're going to look for 2. Zabe will be quick. Bapara, having played, I think this is, I did note it down, this is 471st T20. Ravi Bapara, the debut coming back in 2003.
It's a lot of warm-ups, isn't it?
There's a lot of warm-ups. There's a lot of T20s in those legs. You can forgive him for not being as quick over those 22 yards as Safe. Over pitch that time from Souter, but good over for Durham. Just 4 runs coming off it. And the score after 12 is 78 for 3. So, as you say, in terms of runs, at this stage, Durham in front. 63 required from 48. 7 wickets in hand for the Steelbacks.
Absolutely, it's not been easy for some of the Northants batters. The way that Durham have taken pace out of the ball, and the spinners have done a tremendous job. I think one thing that's in Steelbacks' favour is when they were bowling, they took a lot of double wicket overs, which sort of killed any sort of depth that they could bat to, taking 2 wickets and over quite a few times, which is fantastic from a bowling side point of view. Steelbacks here still got plenty of wickets in hand. You still favour where they're sat in terms of knocking these runs off, especially with these 2 batters at the crease, the experience of Ravi and the excitement of young Saif Saib.
Swept by Bapara, just gets it through. That's Ben Rain, isn't it, round the corner there? Just bounces on him before it gets there and allows Bapara to come through for a single. The fielding by Durham has been superb. They haven't allowed anything really for Northants. They haven't given them any extras. Saw that misfield from Bretsky, didn't we, early in the piece? Nicely played by Zabe. Waited really nicely and a look for a 2, but again, Durham fielding brilliant. Parkinson covers a lot of ground. The throw was wild, but the throw was in the air quickly, which made sure that Northants didn't come back for a second.
Yeah, a lot of people speak about just get out of the hand quickly. As soon as they see it in the air, the batter tend to not take the runs. But just going on their fielding, Ryan Campbell, he's when he was head coach of the Dutch team, that was one thing that he pushed. We want to be one of the best fielding units around. So obviously brought this up to Durham in terms of the energy. I was watching the warm-ups before the game and the way Durham went through their warm-ups, their fielding routines. You can see the energy, the excitement, the athleticism, and how they did it in the 3 different stations. That's something Cambo's always been massive on, fellow wicketkeeper. So throw-ins have got to be the throw-ins have got to be pretty good.
An appeal for Parkinson for LBW. Souter loved it. Parkinson can't believe it. Robinson can't believe it either. Leg by signalled by the umpire just to add a little bit of salt to the wounds on that LBW appeal as well. Sure, we'll get a replay of that one, but Durham giving the impression that Papara might be a lucky lad to still be there.
He went a long way across there, did Ravi Wood.
Nicely bowled by Parkinson. They'll take the single on again. Nicely weighted, nicely placed by Safe Zabe. Another very good over for Durham. 84 for 3, 83 for 3 after 13 overs. Papara on 5, Safe Zabe on 5. And the scores, again, in terms of run total, pretty much neck and neck. Durham were 5 down at this stage, though. Ashton Agar, you can see him there just in front of that white tent near the dugout. Looks like somebody needs to be down there trying to hold him back, I reckon. He's
ready, isn't he?
He's so keen to get out there. Souter continues and will bowl out from the Lynn Wilson centre end. Oh, that's brilliant work by Ollie Robinson. Safe Zabe does really well to make sure that he doesn't lose his balance and stays in his ground. Again, advances at Souter. Ball wasn't there, was it? Adjusted nicely, picked up the single, guided it down to the man of short third.
Just got to keep ticking over here. The Steelbacks will start to pick up boundaries the more they get used to the timing of the wicket. 2 fresh batsmen. Oh, there's an opportunity there.
That would have been
caught and ball.
Absolute worldie by Souter. Para comes through for a single in the end.
Always hard having to go redirect your energy back into the stump line to take the catch. Follow through always takes you away from, to the offside.
It's one of those catches that you're left no choice really but to go one-handed for as well. Brilliant, brilliant effort by the leg spinner to get across to it.
Probably saved 4 the way it was hit.
Yeah, it was
straight.
Arrow straight, wasn't it? Just keeps that frustration on Northants just for a little bit longer. 85 for 3.
Still like to see a mid-wicket in.
So he goes for the sweep, goes for the big sweep. Can't time it, can't connect with it. Another dot ball.
Pretty consistent, have Durham with these 2 catches on the offside.
That's really interesting how close they are, isn't it?
When you look at it from this angle we've got here, it's quite surprising how Dave managed to get it through there a couple of times. They're so close together.
It looked almost that if both of them had put their hands out together, they'd have been touching fingertips there.
Old school slip cordon.
Yeah, just at cover. Yeah, where should I stand in slip cordon? Well, if you stick your arms out, if you're touching hands, you're too close. And if you can't reach the other bloke, you're too far away. Good again from Souter. 1 for 17 off 3.5 overs. Last ball of his spell today. Papara takes him down the ground and picks him out straight away. The last ball of Souter's spell, he picks up another wicket. A smart catch down at long off. And Papara's got to go. It was too flat, wasn't it, from Papara? Just didn't get underneath it. Northants lose their 4th.
Couldn't quite get the trajectory of that one. He hit it hard enough, but just couldn't get it high enough to get over long off. Tremendous spell from Souter there. Was it 2 for 17 did he finish up with?
2 for 17,
2 for 17. The other one, it's gold dust, isn't it, having a leg spinner in your bowling attack. You talk about having a varied attack in terms of right hand, left hand, off spinner, left arm spinner, leg spinner. You can tick all them boxes. It makes you quite an attacking white ball outfits, and the way Souters came on and bowled there, his 4 overs has certainly, you know, made things a little bit more nervous for the Steelbacks.
55 required from 36 deliveries for Northants. Somebody's told Ashton Agar to sit down because the new man is Lewis McManus. He joins Safe Sabe in the middle. The wicket keeper, the man that was there at the end of the innings with Ravi Bopara against Derbyshire on the opening weekend, or the opening week of the Blast.
I definitely think they've decided to keep going right-left here, with Ashton coming in next, depending if Safe goes.
Safe drops that one into the leg side.
Always gives the Steelbacks an option to target the shorter edge. So I think good move here by Sads, just to get Lewis up again. Someone Lewis has came in and scored some runs this year. He's not long off the back of a big 100 down at Glamorgan.
Yep.
You've seen it before as well. It's a good time of a cricket ball.
Yeah, absolutely right. And these two will run really well together between the crease, between the sticks as well. They'll both be quick. They'll both be looking for those twos. And they are available here at Wantage Road. As you said earlier, there's some big pockets around the grounds. Starts with a dot ball. Parkinson. He said Souter, that 4 over spell's been brilliant. This 2.2 overs from Parkinson's been pretty good as well. 1 for 11. 87 for 4.
The ball brilliantly, haven't they? The spinners here for Durham after a power play, which slightly got away from in terms of the quicks bowling in that. I know Dwarsh has bowled superb 2 overs, but the couple of overs from Ben Rain and the lead just cost him a little bit.
Nicely placed by McManus. There is going to be a look for one of those twos, and Safe Sabe, who would have been running to the danger end, says no this time. So just a single. Fielder there so quick off the rope to make sure that that wasn't an option for a second. Two balls left of Parkinson's 3rd over. Safe Sabe.
Good change of pace there.
Yeah, that was quick, wasn't it? Really fired it through.
Good adjustment by Safe just to get it into the gap there. Straight bat rather than the horizontal bat, which is what Parky would have been looking for there. Nice horizontal bat to get underneath it and potential ball or LB, but adjusted nicely by Safe.
Oh, well.
Bouncer.
Bumper from Callum Parkinson that slid down the leg side. Northants won't mind that. An extra one added to the tally. 90 for 4. Big change of pace again and swept behind square, but straight to the man. 15 overs have been bowled. There is a hush around Wantage Road. It's 91 for 4. 50 to win of 5 overs. 6 wickets in hands. I think Durham have done so incredibly well during the course of this game to get themselves into a good position here to win this game at Wantage Road. And I don't think either of us would have been saying that at 4 for 3 at the end of the 4th over.
Absolutely not. It just shows how crucial Colin Ackerman's knock was there, and more importantly, Dwarsh's when he came in, and that cameo that he had where he cleared the ropes a few times and just got into that 140 score just shows how important those 2 people were in the total that was set.
Spin continues. Souter replaced by Ackerman. Starts with a long hop, which McManus says thanks very much to, and puts it on top of the cinch stands and just wakes up those that are still in the ground today. It's a nice day for it. Sun's out. Good turnout as well for a Sunday afternoon. There'll be a lot of club cricket being played around Northampton, I'm sure, on a Sunday. So nice to see the number that have turned out today. It's a good number on Friday night, considering it was pretty torrential rain throughout the entirety of the evening.
Yeah, I heard there was a fair amount of tickets sold. Such a shame, isn't it? We've had a poor summer so far with the weather.
Yeah, it's not been good. McManus backs up that 6 with a single down to long on. Safe Save back on strike. Just a nod there that Northants don't need to panic yet. 10 and over, of course, was the requirement at the start of this over. McManus quite happy having picked up that 6 off the first ball, just to knock it down the ground, make it 7 off 2. Pressure back on Ackerman. Zabe goes for the sweep, gets it fine. Probably comes off the glove, off the thigh pad, in fact.
I think the Steelbacks will just be a little bit disappointed that the run rates sort of got up to 9, 10s and over. But credit to the Durham bowlers of the spin of how well they've bowled and how well they've controlled things. But still, you still favour Northants and the batting that they've got coming in, and these two at the crease, knowing that Seam's going to come back on as well.
Yeah, that round of applause there. Nod to the 100 that's been brought up by Northants. Yeah, as you say, it's Seam, isn't it? Parkinson's got 1 left after this, and then Ackerman this over plus 1 more. Safe save. Tries to open up the offside, go over cover. Can't. Squares him up, goes down towards deep backward square, and actually runs 2. So not a bad end result from a shot that for a second there he would have been worrying. 102 for 4. Last ball of Ackerman's 3rd over. And that one powerfully played through the offside. It's going to be another couple of runs. It's going to be cut off before it gets to the boundary rope. But a good over for Northants. 104 for 4 after 16. 37 required. 24 deliveries. Safe Zabe on 13. McManus on 10. And if Alex Lees wants them, and he certainly wants 1 more of them, there are 2 overs left of spin available. Parkinson will bowl his 4th and final over from the David Capel end. And still, in terms of numbers, Northants 5 in front where Durham were. Big difference, though. Durham at this stage was 7 down. McManus picks up Parkinson down towards the beer tent, the bar. Can't beat the man at deep mid-wicket, so it's just going to be the single. But this is when that partnership started, wasn't it? That Ackerman-Dwarshuis partnership at the back end of that innings that just started to take that score away.
Just ignite them, didn't it?
Yeah, 99 for 7 up to 140 all out.
Yeah, so it was a big part of the game for Durham. Steelbacks will just be looking for someone here just to ignite, start scoring a few boundaries.
Zabe goes for a reverse sweep. Parkinson goes up for the appeal. Umpire says no. Almost runs in like a bit of a medium pacer, doesn't he, Parkinson?
Does. He's got a nice approach. Again, he's able to just hold back pace or put pace on at the last minute. Very smart.
Zabe
bowler.
goes again. Gets it past the keeper, but again, doesn't make contact. Or doesn't get as much contact as he'd like. And it is just going to be a single. It's kind of innings at the moment. 14 off 16 for Safe Zabe. Don't get frustrated. He's played some pretty expansive shots so far, and it's not quite worked for him, has it?
Oh, shot.
That'll help. Straight down the ground. Parkinson stuck a hand out in hope, really, but it was so well timed from McManus. It was muscled, in fact, wasn't it, down past the bowler. He moves to 15, 110 for 4.
It's a great cricket shot.
Yeah, it's not what you'd say the older generation would enjoy.
Not your classic on drive.
It still counts as 4, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Northampton's analyst James Maybe tracks it down as an on-drive 4. Doesn't matter what it looks like. That one's just bounced. McManus has done well to turn that into the leg side. Just boos from the crowd there. They thought there was 2 available.
Yeah, the crowd wanted 2 there. Must be some fast runners in the stands watching. Be interesting what they go next, though, whether it's Ben Rain, so you can get 2 overs out. Again, Durham's leading wicket taker, someone that bowls pace off really well, and that seems to be effective on here.
Oh, it's gone through the man. I think he's taken enough pace off it. There's going to be interest to stop it going. Oh, it's actually just stopped inside the rope. Save adds a couple to end the over. 113 for 4 then. 3 overs remain this afternoon at Wantage Road, and Northants require 28 to win. 6 wickets in hand. And it is going to be Ben Rain from the Lynn Wilson centre end.
Not sure who's gonna follow Ben Rain. Whether Dwarshuis does come back, then it adds a bit of pace onto the ball. Is that the easier option in terms of batting and scoring freely, a bit more pace on the ball? So it'll be interesting to see how they go for, whether they Dwarshuis or potential of Ackerman bowling another over from that top end. So
yeah, Ackerman's got 1 left. Baz, the leader, has 3 if required. He did go for 13 off that first over, but that's not to say that if he came back, he wouldn't be successful.
yeah, he's bowled plenty of death overs in the past, especially for the Dutch team at World Cups and qualifiers and stuff. So it's part of the game that he's used to. I imagine a lot of slow balls here, back of the hands.
Nice shot. Well played by Lewis McManus. Chris Liddell called the back of the hand slow ball perfectly.
Oh. They've hit the wicket pretty well these days, haven't they, from?
Ben Rain giving Lewis McManus a taste of his own medicine there from down at Glamorgan earlier this month. Or the end of last month, in fact, wasn't it? That's funny, isn't it, how those things just stick around.
It is funny. Good bit of humour there from Ben Rain. He plays the game the right way, doesn't he, Ben?
Certainly does. Is that something that Lewis McManus would have noticed there, do you think? Or
what Ben Rain just did
Yeah.
there? I think he'd have had a little smile, yeah.
Safe save on strike. Goes for the ramp, plays it nicely, gets it over the keeper, just spins away and
Great
gets
shot.
past the fielder for 4. Ben Rain disgusted with it. But as that's pitched, it's actually kind of turned like an off break, isn't it? And just spun away from the diving Durham fielder on the boundary. Good shot by Safe Save. He moves to 20. His first boundary of this innings, which wouldn't have happened very often in Safe Save's T20 career.
No, he's had to work well. He's had to work hard, as say, for his runs. Again, he's a hard bowler to bowl at. A hard batter to bowl at the back end, the way he hits the ball.
That'll do.
Juggled.
On the second attempt, Ben Rain gets him. Caught it mid-off. Safe Save tries to go back-to-back boundaries and can't do anything but pick out the man at mid-off, and Northants now 5 down. Safe Save goes for 20. Lewis McManus, the not-out batter, on 17. And replacing Safe Save will be Ashton Agar. Northants still require 23. 23 off 16. 5 wickets left to play with. And when you just think that over's going Northants' way, it turns again, doesn't it? Ben Rain just twists the game back around and you think, oh, it's back to 50-50 again.
Yeah, it's been a good game of cricket. Credit to the Durham bowlers, the way they've gone about it here. They've squeezed nicely, and boundaries have been few and far between, and Northants have had to work hard for the boundaries. So it's going to be a good finish. Again, the beauty of this is we've still got a right and left hand at the crease, and Steelbacks will be happy with that in terms of keep targeting that short edge if it comes down to it. So it's going to be a good finish, I think.
I think it will be. Ben Rain into bowl. Ashton Agar on strike. Shorter ball into the thigh pad. Agar will get down the non-striker's end. 1 run will be added to the tally, but it is just a leg by. 119 for 5, 22 required from 14. Feels like McManus needs to be there at the end, doesn't it, for Northants, if they're going to be successful. Final over as well, bowled by Rafi Weatherall, who's usually brilliant at the death. Did go for 14 as well. It's on from Ben Rain into the block hole.
That's what I'm just thinking about. Pace on back end, is it easier to hit with this wicket, and kick coming on a bit easier? With is it worthwhile looking at someone that can bowl a lot more of the slow balls and take the pace out of the ball to bowl this next over?
Can Ben Rain finish off what's been a good over? He can. It's just going to be a single down to long on. 120 for 5. Attempt at a bit of a misfield there, which Northants nearly reacted to. 120 for 5. 12 balls remain. 21 to win for Northants. What an over that was from Ben Rain.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, all level, really. Durham were 120 for 7 at this point. Steelbacks 120 for 5. Still a couple of wickets in hand and a couple of big hitters sat in the dugout waiting to come in. So I'd like to see Lewis take on this short edge here. Bit of extra pace from Dwarshus that's coming on here. Can target that if he gets slightly straight.
Yeah, Dwarshus back into the attack from the David Capelin. 3 overs, no maidens, none for 12 in that opening spell from the big Australian. Slower ball to start, just drifts down the leg side.
Yeah, his margin for error will be short here, small here with third up, only deep cover out on the offside and mid off in the ring as well. So his line's got to be important.
Cheers from the Northants fans as that one just drifted down the leg side. 121 for 5, 20 required off 12. That's picked up by McManus. Has he got all of it? He has. What a start to the over this is for Northants. Picked it up over square leg. 127 for 5. 20 was required off 2. Or sorry, 21 was required off 2. It's now 14 off 11. That's going to help.
Absolutely. That'll just set the nerves a little bit. Exactly what we spoke about there with just getting a fraction on the hip. And Lewis has managed to just clip it nicely over deep square.
He moves to 24. 24 off 14. 1 4 2 6s for Northants' wicketkeeper. Field stays the same for Dwarshus. Pace off into the thigh pad of McManus. Leg by added to the tally. Good start. 8 runs added to the score off the first 2 deliveries from this over. It's 128 for 5, 13 off 10.
Length was a bit full of that last ball, just hard to hit through, I suppose. The one that went for 6 was more into the wicket and set up, didn't it, for Lewis to get hold of. So, yeah, it's going to be important here. Yeah, and Ashton hitting out to the longer edge.
Yeah.
Whether
to get off the mark.
Yeah, whether Dwarshus goes more into the wicket here.
Nice shot. Nice cover drive from Agar to get off the mark. That start to the over for McManus has just allowed these two, hasn't it, to kind of play the rest of this over out, however it may transpire.
What would you like off the last over?
Single figures would be nice, wouldn't it? 8 or 9, somewhere around there. I don't think you'd want too many more than that.
Not been too many high scoring overs, is there? There've been a couple of, 12s and 14.
Yorker missed from Dwarshus. Manus scooped it, shoveled the low full toss down towards long on, and for a second there was an ooh from the crowd. Ended up falling a good 3 or 4 foot short of the man coming in off the rope. Another single added. 11 required off 8. Agar back on strike. Still 2 balls left in this over. It's when you need a healthy little inside edge pass leg stump down to the boundary.
I think it must be pace off this delivery with a field set.
It is, and it's nicely played by Agar.
For 2.
Looks for 2.
Going for it.
Agar's going to come back, and it's a good run.
It's a bad throw. Real bad throw. Under pressure from the guy running in from deep mid wicket. I think it's Clark.
Yep.
You look for moments in the game where you can have that impact, make a change. I think if he'd have picked it up slightly better and the throw would have been better, chance for a run out for sure.
9 off 7. Great Yorker from Dwarshus, straight in the block hole of Agar. He does well to dig it out, gets the single off the final ball of the penultimate over. 133 for 5. And therefore, Northants will require 8 to win from the final over.
You got your 8?
Got my 8. It still feels like a lot in the context of this game, doesn't it? The final over for Durham went for 14. It is going to be Ben Rain to bowl it from the Lynn Wilson centre end. Agar will be on strike. He's on 4. McManus at the non-strikers end on 25. How do Northants play it for starters? And then what did Durham look to do with 8 to play with?
Well, I think just thinking back to Dave Willey's decision to bowl Ben Sanderson, he's obviously looked at the wicket and thought the less pace on and someone that can bowl changes of pace is going to be the most effective rather than the pace on that you can hit through the ball or deflect. We've seen a lot of scoops for boundaries so far in this game. So, yeah, I think they've got the right man for the job here to try and close it out. I'd imagine a lot of slow balls. It's a great start.
Very, very good start. Straight into the gloves. That made a nice sound, didn't it, into the gloves of Robinson there. 8 required off 5. It's all good, Ben, was the call from somewhere out there. It's one of those scores. One good hit kind of ends this, doesn't it? But 8 is still a lot. 5 balls left to get it. And there could be that good hit. There we go. I was talking it up, and that's the biggest one of the day from Ashton Agar. Into the trees, over the coffee van. And 8 required off 5 suddenly turns into 2 required off 4.
I'm surprised he's gone pace on first 2 balls. There's Ben Rain. That's exactly what they're after in terms of pace on the ball to try and hit through. And he's got 2 full and 2 straight at the pads, and Ashton Agar's just hit it into the houses and just eased the pressure nicely.
He's not the brawniest bloke, is he, Ashton Agar? But he's tall. Those levers are long, and that was just a full flow of the bat, just over mid-wicket. Timed brilliantly. So 2 required off 4 balls. Northants can just drop and run these if the field stays the same. Alex Lees and Durham, surely they're bringing the players off the rope here with 2 to defend off 4 balls, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. Just start to leave a couple of scouts out there just for catches maybe, but yeah, certainly left one out on the leg side. Everyone's in.
Yeah, 2 down there on the leg side. Ben Rain into bowl. 2 to win. Slower ball down the leg side. Make that 1 to win.
Well, disappointing there from Ben Rain. It was set up to be a real thrill of a last over, and he's just not been able to execute it well enough. Credit to Agar. You know, he got a ball to hit for a boundary, and he certainly made use of it and hit it probably the furthest one, like you said, of today. So he'll be disappointed, Ben. He's done this. He's bowled this last over countless times in the past and had success, but it's not quite worked for him this time. It's a bit of a shame from the Durham point of view, but been a great fight back from them with the ball to get it to the last over.
It's a very good delivery from Ben Rain. Takes it another delivery deeper into this game. There is just one fielder outside that 30-yard circle. They're down at deep mid-wicket. She said there for the catch.
Could there be a tie?
There could be. There could be. It would be an almighty second half of this over from Ben Rain if there's going to be one. Agar 10 off 7. 1 to win. They're going to take the single. He gets it through the offside, and that's going to be a win. And Ashton Agar on debut for the Steelbacks hits the winning runs through point, and Northants win at Wantage Road. They beat Durham by 5 wickets on a sunny Sunday afternoon in Northampton. That was a lot closer a game than I thought that was going to be after the opening power play.
Absolutely. I think credit to the way Durham spinners have bowled and really squeezed the Steelbacks and made it hard to, you know, for them to score boundaries and get going, and they picked a couple of wickets up. And yeah, it turned into be a real thrill of a game here on Sunday afternoon. So yeah, credit to Steelbacks. They've looked superb this year, the way they've gone about the cricket, and they've had to dig deep here to get the result, and you know, probably not being the most fluent in the game in terms of boundaries, but they've certainly found a way to win, which what good teams do. They find ways to win games of cricket, so credit to them.
Yeah, it was one of those scores that just, it's an awkward score, isn't it? 140. You'd think, wow, it should be an easy run chase, but actually it's enough to play around with your field. It gives your bowlers something to bowl to. A brilliant innings of 70 by Colin Ackerman in the first innings set that up. 140 all out. Ben Sanderson picked up 4 for 15. Heldrick, Freddie picked up 3 for 23. And then really and truly kind of contributions all the way down from Northants. Nobody really stood out. I suppose Vasconcelos would be the standout, 41 off 33, but struggled at times. 10 off 16 for Bretsky, 17 for Dave Willey, 6 off 12 for Bapara, 20 off 19. And then McManus and Ash Nagar walked out there and looked like they batted on a different pitch at the end.
Yeah, I mean, Lewis came out there and a bit of pressure actually, and finished with 25 off, was it 16 balls or something like that? But he managed to, you know, find the middle of the bat quite a few times for boundaries and just took that pressure off. Certainly got it to the last over, just needing 8 off the last. They've been happy with that. And yeah, credit to Sads and the Steelbacks for this game today. As I say, good teams find a way to win. And they were put under a bit of pressure by Durham, but they found a way to get over the line, and they'll be happy with today's work, especially the way they bowled in the power play. I thought that was tremendous. Ben Sanderson picking up the wickets there in the power play, but just asking so many questions with the new Kookaburra ball, which was great to see. So yeah, credit to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the table then, obviously there's a few games in play, but as it stands then, Northants will go second in the table with 12 points. Having played 10, won 5, lost 3, with the 1 tie and a no result, they will leap past Lancashire, Durham, Derbyshire and Leicestershire. And the Steelbacks go away from home for a little bit of a road trip. Now, I think it's Leicester next and then Durham again. And then they're back here, the next home game, the 18th of July, to round out the T20 Blast at Wantage Road. The Northants Steelbacks Victoria. Chris, thank you for your company today. It's been great fun.
No, it's been a pleasure.
And we'll see you back on live stream in about a week and a half.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Thank you for having me.